Hill Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin says today he expects to get a contract extension during the offseason. He's now the longest tenured active coach in the league with one team, having just finished his 17th year in Pittsburgh. Our Adam Schefter reports the Ravens activate running back Dalvin Cook after waiving Melvin Gordon. Cook will be ready to play in Saturday's divisional playoff game against the Texans. As for Baltimore tight end Mark Andrews, that's still undecided.
I think, it's how I feel, at the end of the day, but, just knowing how good this team is, how good our players are, how good our tight ends are, if I feel like I'm going to be, helpful to the team, I'm going to go. If I feel like I'm close but not there, I'll let these guys go and hopefully get there next weekend.
Andrews has been out for 2 months with a left ankle injury. The Warriors' scheduled game with the Mavericks tomorrow night is postponed. The second game to be pushed back after the sudden death of Golden State assistant Dejan Milojevic. The 46-year-old died of a heart attack in Salt Lake City on Wednesday.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. C.J. Stroud or Jordan Love. I'll tell you which young quarterback has the best chance to go on the road and pull off the upset. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Man, we got a lot to do. Good night on the hardwood. Pels win. Tigers win. We're headed to Atlanta. Looks like Bill Belichick is going to be the guy for the Falcons. Jordan Wright will be here in hour 3. A ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
We celebrated Bama burning on the show if you were here on Wednesday. No, we're going to keep doing that for quite some time, it would appear. But I wanted to take an opportunity today with a little bit of news around LSU to kind of take an assessment of where the LSU roster is with respect to the portal. With the portal window closed, but obviously a lot of guys in the portal, and then still the possibility of seniors to transfer, et cetera, and sort of look around. And we're learning more and more about guys who entered the portal, where their destination is going to be. So there's a little bit of news today. The first one is really, this was expected. I mean, it was the first name that we had heard whenever Lance Hurd entered the portal, was that it was most likely going to be Tennessee. And Matt Zenitz from 247 is reporting that Lance Hurd is going to transfer to Tennessee. I did an interview earlier today with Josh and Swain up there in Knoxville. Josh Ward, Jason Swain, awesome guys. And that they kind of confirmed the same thing. That's the expectation. So it looks like a guy that was, a top 20 recruit in the country a year ago, and Lance Hurd is going to stay in the SEC, head to Knoxville, and continue a really good career. And that one might sting a bit, in another year or so. Might not. The other one that was interesting is we found out today that Fitzgerald West is going to continue his career, I should say, with the Raging Cajuns there in Lafayette. Fitzgerald West went to LCA, so Lafayette Christian, and now is going to finish his college career with the Raging Cajuns back in his hometown. So that's a great opportunity there for Fitzgerald West. And for those two guys, I think we know a lot about both of them, right? Hurd was a 5-star from North Louisiana, came here, much ballyhooed. He was a backup because you had two great tackles. He was going to be a backup next year. He wanted a bigger NIL payday. LSU said no thanks. He went and found one apparently in Knoxville, so congrats to him and good luck. And then, Fitzgerald West is a guy I think that really does deserve some that really does deserve credit for the way he handled his time in Baton Rouge. If you remember, and not every recruiting is super memorable, or recruitment is memorable, but Fitzgerald West's was, because he came to LSU camp when Ed Ogeron was still the coach. And while he came as a defensive lineman, the coaching staff asked him if he'd be willing to take snaps at center and work with the offensive line. He said, sure. They offered him on the spot as an offensive lineman. So he played defensive line in high school, came to LSU, started on the offensive line. They quickly moved him back to defensive line. Then at the start of the 2022 season, if you remember, even through fall camp, spring football, fall camp, they didn't have a center. They ended up starting Garrett Dellinger a year ago in the opener at center against Florida State, if you remember. Fitzgerald West moved back to center because they were trying to rep guys there. And then when ultimately they settled on Charles Turner, West moved back to the defensive line. So that's a guy that was super willing during his time here to do whatever he was asked. And I respect that tremendously. It's a team guy. And in the end, he's ultimately going to find a place where he's going to be able to get on the field and go closer to home, back at home in Lafayette. And hopefully has a great career the rest of the way with the Cajuns. He'll have 3 years of eligibility remaining with the Cajuns. So good luck to Fitzgerald West. But I looked at it and I went, okay, let's kind of assess what LSU's roster looks like. We did a segment yesterday on the roster as a whole being the numbers, right, where the numbers are. In my very, very unofficial count, when you look at returning scholarship players, incoming signees, the one February signee with Dominic McKinley, who's on the books right now for February, and then your 6 incoming transfers, LSU's numbers are at 90. Listen, that's, again, my very unofficial count. So, but they should be right around that number. But they're heavy. They have 2 minutes, so there's going to be even more attrition. But I wanted to look at the players that have left the program, because when we were sort of tap dancing on Alabama's grave, the point with what's happening at Bama is they're losing not just bodies, they're losing stars. They're starting center. They're starting left tackle. Caleb Downs, they're all-America's starting safety. They're Isaiah Bond, their best receiver. I mean, they are losing star players right now in Tuscaloosa. Their frontline guys are being gutted, not just depth. And I think this is going to illustrate the difference when you look at LSU. So LSU right now has 17 players that have gone into the portal. And that's a big number. Bama's at 29 after today. So, and that's excessive, but they had a coaching change. But 17 is still a big number. But listen to not only the players that LSU is losing, but where they're transferring to. Logan Diggs going to Ole Miss. Matt O'Dowd, the quarterback. He's headed to, I don't even know what school this is. Marist. Matt O'Dowd's going to Marist. Lance Hurd expected to go to Tennessee. Jalen Brown's enrolled at Florida State. Denver Harris is undecided. Deuce Chestnut's headed back to Syracuse. Ty G. Hill's going to Oregon State. Fitzgerald West, as we mentioned, he's going to ULL. Marlon Martinez to Mississippi State. Quincy Wiggins is going to Colorado. Jackson McGowan, freshman tight end, he's headed to Wisconsin. Tavion Falk is going to Indianapolis. George Hamsley is going to Tennessee State. LaTerrence Welch is committed to Arizona State. Armani Goodwin, UAB. Trey Bradford, North Texas. Bryce Langston's undecided. And I want to be clear, I am not in any way minimizing any of those guys and their opportunity. I think it's awesome that Trey Bradford is going to North Texas and may have an opportunity to be there every down back and go play a ton and get reps. I mean, he had a very odd college career where LSU, then Oklahoma, then back to LSU, then just a weird circumstance. I wish Armani Goodwin tons of success at UAB. That may be the perfect situation. Arizona State's going through a huge transition, but maybe LaTerrence Welch walking in right there could be a great opportunity for him to get on the field every down. Jackson McGowan was at a logjam at tight end. He looked like a good young player, and maybe he can go and develop at Wisconsin. My point is, of all the guys I just mentioned, really, I would say there's 4 players that you're going to miss or that have contributed that them leaving stings a bit. One is Logan Diggs, who was your leading running back this year, obviously. Now, Logan Diggs suffered a pretty serious knee injury in the bowl game, I'm told, and I don't even know to what extent he might be 100% this coming season. But he was your leading rusher among running backs this year. Lance Hurd, I think we all know, is a 5-star, is a projected starter on the offensive line. And but for the fact that he came into a situation where you had starting bookend tackles and a couple of veteran guys at guard, Hurd would have started darn near anywhere else in the country. So that one is one where you may look in 2 years and go, man, you wish you'd kept Lance Hurd. Or maybe, you obviously are going to have your starting tackles back for this coming season. And then after that, maybe one of the young tackles that LSU's recruited, developed, becomes a great player. Or maybe you hit the portal and find a starter. You can protect yourself from that. And the other 2 that I would mention are Jaylen Brown, because I think he's just really an impressive athlete and is going to have a great college career, similar to Lance Hurd. A great young player that you hate to lose, hadn't made an impact felt here, will at the place he goes, but you still have good numbers there at that spot anyway. And then I think we all would have been really interested to see how it could have worked out with Quincy Wiggins. He's going to go play for Coach Prime in Colorado. You wish him well, but he was a high 4-star recruit, and he was a guy that physically very imposing, but just had some development. And maybe with all the turnover at defensive coordinator, defensive line coach, maybe that positionally what LSU was just trying to, maybe that all stunted his development, maybe. But aside from that, those 4 that I just mentioned, none of the other defections really hurt you. I mean, I could throw Marlon Martinez in there because he's played a ton of football and he's a really good rotational piece for you, but he's not going to be a starter. It hurts your depth. Yes, it hurts your depth. But Fitzgerald West and Tyjee Hill and Trey Bradford and Armani Goodwin and LaTerrence Welch, these guys leaving, that's not devastating to your program. I think what we're seeing is just the natural attrition that is going to happen every year in the portal. You're going to lose 15 to 20 guys a year out of the portal. And in the way that used to be, guys that would take a medical retirement or guys that would go pro early or whatever it may be, or were processed out of the program, they just now enter the transfer portal. You're going to see that same number of that same bit of turnover. It's just going to be in different silos, if that makes sense. So, yeah, LSU's lost a lot of guys in the portal. 17's a big number. But they're going to lose more because you're still not under the 85 scholarship limit, which you don't have to be in spring, but you have to be in fall. And there's still positions where you're going to want to add people. So they got a ways to go, but my goodness, I think the way that they've managed this roster through this portal season is light years ahead of where they were the last 2 years, where they were signing, 15-plus guys out of the portal out of necessity. Now you're rebuilding your depth in the portal with your top-line players, and you're, I hate to say processing, purging, cutting almost from the bottom. So I think with this portal cycle not completed yet, LSU's actually in a stronger place now than they were at the when they finished the season in the bowl game with the win against Wisconsin. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us. We'll talk plenty more about this, and we'll continue to learn a lot of these transfer destinations and see if there's other targets for LSU. And, of course, Brian Kelly still has to finish his staff, so we'll get to all of that. Love telling you about our friends at Bud Light. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana. Of course, if you were at the women's basketball game last week, they unveiled the new national championship bottle. Do you have that logo that you could put up back screen? The national championship bottle for the LSU women's basketball team, We got him here on set with the custom koozies as well, with the LSU Women's National Championship logo. To the best of our knowledge, this is I think Kim Mulkey even said it, this is the first time that a women's basketball team has ever had their own beer can. So shout out to our friends at Mockler Beverage. They worked in concert with Kim Mulkey and with the folks at Anheuser-Busch to make this happen. So when you go to great retailers around town, you'll see the purple aluminum bottles with the LSU Women's National Championship logo, and you can get a little piece of history and drink with the champs all throughout 2024. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break around the SEC in about 15 minutes. We'll head to Atlanta 1 hour from right now. Chris Dimino will be here. We'll talk about Bill Belichick getting a second interview with the Falcons. Like, what? I mean, 1 seemed excessive. 2 seems absurd. But it looks like that's trending toward Belichick being the guy in Atlanta. We'll get the latest. It's after further review. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I had a friend text me on Sunday, and I woke up to the text on Sunday morning. Said, hey, what's the number for the HVAC company you always talk about? I came home from a trip, and my heater was out. Well, considering the weather that was coming on Monday with the freezing temps on Monday and into Tuesday, you can't be in a home when you're in temperatures in the teens when you don't have a heater. It was Sunday. River City's 1 Hour Air was out Sunday afternoon at his home fixing his heater. It doesn't matter nights, holidays, or weekends. They'll always come out, and they'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, and weekends. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Got a little bit of news here from Wilson Alexander of The Advocate. Wilson, yeah, you did the breaking news sound. I had the breaking news sounder, but the Wilson sound is great as well. A little breaking news here from Wilson Alexander. It's so good. The first time we ever did that, Wilson was a little triggered. He didn't know what to do.
He likes it now, though, I think.
Yes,
I think he's come around to it.
Yes. Well, also, Wilson just didn't know me. We'd never met. It was like, hey, come on the show. And then we'd do the Wilson drop. He's like, what is this? So Wilson Alexander is reporting former Missouri defensive analyst Jake Olson will be LSU's safeties coach, rounding out the on-field defensive staff, the 5th hire the last 2 weeks. Again, none of this is official yet from LSU. I think that's important to note. Like, the only assistant coach hires that LSU has formally announced are Blake Baker and Bo Davis. That's it. We've got the reports about Kevin Peoples and Corey Raymond and Jake Olson, but nothing official from LSU yet. So obviously we have to wait and see what the finality is. I certainly trust that Wilson Alexander's got good info here. And it was Billy Embody last week who had reported that Jake Olson came with Blake Baker from Missouri. So he's actually been here a couple of weeks already. But now we learned his role. And that was the interesting part, because as we've talked about the LSU staff, remember, this is the conversation we've had. And I understand that for some of you, this sounds repetitive because I say this over and over, but it's important to note when we have this conversation about the staff. Yes, who you add is important, but how you structure it matters as well. It's not like an NFL staff where you can have as many on-field coaches as you want, whatever roles that you want. You have 10 on-field assistants in college. So as you start to look through it and how it may be structured, one of the things that I know Brian Kelly was initially considering was having a full-time special teams coordinator, a dedicated special teams coordinator. Well, Jake Olson had worked as a special teams coach throughout his career. We talked about his bio. On the show yesterday, we had Eli Wolf here, who covers Missouri, and we talked a little bit about all the guys, the 3 guys from Missouri that LSU's added. But Jake Olson is a guy that has ties to Louisiana, having been at Nichols and ULM and Northwestern State. He was at LSU for a year. That year with Baker, Baker got let go, goes to Missouri as the DC, brings Olson with him where he's been. So that was a possibility. But now when you look at the offensive side, so you've got Blake Baker, who's going to, as I've told you, is going to coach linebackers. That was what we told from the beginning. Bo Davis will coach your defensive line. Kevin Peoples will coach your ends and your edge position. Corey Raymond will coach your corners, and apparently Olson will coach your safeties. Okay, that's 5 on-field defensive assistants. You look at the offensive side, you've got Cortez Hankton coaching your receivers. You've got Joe Sloan coaching your quarterbacks. You've got Brad Davis coaching your offensive line. And you have to consider Frank Wilson, of course, coaching your running backs. And you have to have a tight ends coach. So I've given you the names that I've been told. And there's 2. It's Slade Nagel at Tulane and John McNulty, who was an analyst at Bama this past year and was Brian Kelly's tight ends coach at Notre Dame for a couple of seasons. I think it'll be one of those 2 guys. The other possibility would have been if you hired an offensive coordinator that could also coach tight ends. That's what Mike Denbrock did. But as we've talked about here, the push the past several weeks, there's just gaining momentum behind the idea of Sloan, Hankton, co-OCs, which you saw in the bowl game, Sloan calling plays, hire a tight ends coach. Well, if you do that, you don't have a special teams coordinator. So you're back to that spot where you're divvying up special teams roles again, unless Brian Kelly's got another plan somewhere. And I don't know what it might be. Maybe it's someone who coaches special teams tight ends. Maybe Olson, having a background in special teams, could do that role. Don't know. So, yes, who you add is very important. And as we've talked about, it's clear Brian Kelly is assembling a staff of great recruiters and technical skilled coaches. Bo Davis and Kevin Peoples are some of the most highly regarded defensive line coaches. We know Brad Davis has done an incredible job with that offensive line. And it's so funny, too, how many people were critical of Brad Davis at the beginning of last season. And I had to remind you over and over again, 6 different line combinations in 8 games. 2 true freshman bookend tackles. How quickly they ramped up and became dominant this year is super impressive. But you understand, LSU has a great staff of technical coaches, but it doesn't matter how great your coaching is if you don't have players. You're still going to have a lower ceiling. You got to get players. And what they've done is they've assembled an incredible staff of recruiters to go along with the technical ability that these coaches have. But how they structure the offensive side will be interesting, and what they do with special teams kind of is really the question remaining. Do you add a tight ends coach? If so, then how do you divvy up the special teams duties? That seems to be the biggest question that remains here for LSU heading into to the 2024 season as it pertains to their staff. Okay, it's after further. So again, the news, if you missed it, Wilson Alexander is reporting that LSU, that Jake Olson, who in hat tip Billy Embody, he had that Olson was on staff last week, but Wilson is reporting that Olson will be the safeties coach. So that finishes your defensive staff. Now, who coaches? What do you do at OC? Who coaches tight ends? What do you do with special teams? Those are the questions we still need to get answered. Let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Yes, a great lineup of brand new Volkswagens. The style, the feel, the performance of luxury, the great German engineering, manufactured right here in the USA. I want to remind you that that's so important. A lot of people think, I'm going to buy American vehicles. That's fine, and I love the USA. But Volkswagen has a plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So when you go buy a vehicle at South Point Volkswagen on Airline Highway, it's built in Chattanooga, Tennessee with the great German engineering, the great style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. Test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. But, of course, they've got certified pre-owned as well. So if you're looking to buy a pre-owned vehicle, South Point has a great selection. Go see my guy, Kerry Manuel. He's the pre-owned manager over at South Point Volkswagen. He can help you. southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? What a night on the hardwood for the LSU Tigers. They beat number 22 Ole Miss. I guess we could call it an upset, but maybe don't call it an upset. LSU was actually a 3.5-point favorite in that ball game last night. And boy, did I have fun with our guy Ben Mintz, Mincy on Twitter last night, who yesterday noted the point spread and said, boy, just no respect from Vegas for the Rebs, a 3.5-point underdog at LSU. Well, LSU rallied from an early deficit. They led by 2.5. They led by as many as 16 in the second half. It got a little tense late in those final 3 minutes where LSU crept up to a double-digit lead again, but was struggling to protect it. And then the freshman Williams, as Ole Miss got it to 5, the freshman Williams hit a big three-pointer to push it back to 8. And LSU was able to ice it away at the free throw line. Great win by the LSU Tigers. Here was Matt McMahon after the game.
Really fired up for our team. Proud of their effort and toughness that they displayed on the court tonight. Ole Miss has a terrific team. They're 15-1 for a reason. Got great talent. Play extremely hard. I thought in the second half, our defense was terrific. I think they were 32% from the floor. We were really concerned coming in. Ole Miss, one of the top three-point shooting teams in the country, over 40%, which you don't see very often. And hold them to 6 of 24, 25% there. Thought our offensive execution in the second half, minus a couple possessions there at the end of the game, was just terrific.
The possessions at the end of the game is what Matt McMahon was alluding to there. Some turnovers, poor shot, allowed Ole Miss some transition buckets. They kept hitting threes as well, which made the game tighter at the end than it really needed to be, as it felt like LSU was salting it away. But 89-80, LSU beats Ole Miss. Tigers are now 3-1 in the SEC. I don't need to remind you that LSU won 2 conference games a year ago. Through 4 games, they have exceeded their entire conference win total of a season ago. And hat tip to Matt McMahon. Listen, the meat grinder part of the schedule is still coming, but there are winnable games on the schedule, and this is looking like a team that should be in the postseason. I'm not telling you they're an NCAA tournament team, but this is a team that certainly could be an NIT team with the way they're playing right now, and it's just very clear, man, that adding Jalen Cook has just transformed the way that this team operates. They just function offensively differently when he's there. And then Jordan Wright, what a massive game for Jordan Wright last night. This was can you play Matt McMahon number 2? This was Matt McMahon on Jordan Wright after the game.
Jordan's performance on the night. 27 points, only 16 shots to get him. 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 steals. It's a pretty impressive stat line, and I thought his impact on winning was terrific.
Cody Worsham with LSU posted this last night, and this puts into perspective the night that Jordan Wright had. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 steals, 5 assists. Jordan Wright last night joined Tremont Waters and Ben Simmons as the only LSU basketball players with a 25-5-5-5 in a game since the 2010-2011 season. It's been in more than a decade, only Tremont Waters and Ben Simmons and now Jordan Wright have had at least 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 5 assists in a game. That's a hell of a stat line. That's affecting winning. And Jordan Wright coming over from Vanderbilt, the Dunham kid, coming to his hometown to finish his college career and help get LSU going in the right direction. What a night for him last night. So congrats to Jordan Wright on a great night, and congrats to the Tigers on the win, getting to 3-1 now in conference play. I will mention, though, Jordan Wright is going to be with us in hour number 3. So we're looking forward to having Jordan Wright at 5:15 Central. So Tigers are practicing. I believe they're on the practice floor right now. And then when they're only going to a short workout today, about an hour. When they're done, they'll get finished with the workout, and Jordan will be with us at 5:15. So we're looking forward to talking about his big night last night. So congrats to Matt McMahon and the Tigers on a really nice win. I do want to talk a bit about the Pels as well, who also won last night. They just blitzed the Hornets last night at the Blender. So we'll get to that a bit later in the show. Let me knock out a quick break, come back, go around the SEC. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. A couple things to remind you about. Always encourage you to download the Rouse's app. Just pull out your smartphone, download the Rouse's app. You know you have a Rouse's near you. There's 68 Rouse's locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, points in between. And the newest location is right there on Florida Boulevard, not far from where I'm sitting right now, on Florida at Ardenwood. If you haven't been, what an awesome thing, man. There's this old adage of, what comes first? Do you have to have the neighborhood to justify the supermarket, or does the supermarket bring the neighborhood? Well, for that North Baton Rouge community, you now have a pristine, gorgeous, amazing market there with Rouse's. And our hat tip to Donnie Rouse and the whole crew over at Rouse's for continuing to expand their footprint and serving all of their communities. Remember, you can always go get your king cakes. It is that time of year, y'all, all your gourmet king cakes at any Rouse's location. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Hey, Muse, you saw earlier this week that the South Alabama coach, Kane Womack, the head coach, was leaving South Alabama to go to Alabama to be their defensive coordinator?
I did see that, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a vacancy at South Alabama.
Naturally, yes.
Yeah. So you know who they hired. They made their announcement.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
I actually did not see this. No.
Well, they're promoting Major Applewhite. You remember where Major Applewhite went to school, right?
Yeah, Texas.
He did go to Texas.
He went to Texas.
You're absolutely right.
Coached there, too.
Coached at Texas,
Yeah.
and then left Texas. Went around a bit. He was at Rice for a minute.
Houston for
at
a little bit.
Alabama. He was the head coach at
yeah.
Houston.
Yeah.
And then, Fertitta got a little up in his feels and fired him after 2 years. Then Major went back to Bama to, it's the Nick Saban's home for wayward coaches.
Absolutely.
And then went to South Alabama where he became the offensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach there at the University of South Alabama. But that's not what I'm talking about. Muse, where did Major Applewhite go to school before he went to Texas? Yeah! Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How many St. Michael the Archangel alums are head football coaches at the college level?
I mean, I would have to say none, but why do you have to go there?
Hey, Paulie.
Yeah.
How many Central Wildcat alums are Division I head football coaches, huh?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer.
Oh, you know the answer, Paulie. And the fact that there is no name handy, you know there is no name. That's exactly what that is. Hey, Haldane. Hey, Brain. How many, whatever the school that you went to that you think should be in the Catholic League but isn't because nobody really cares, how many of them are head football coaches? Brain's not here. What's the name of the school he went to?
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
St. Paul.
Oh, yeah, the school that he thinks matters that nobody actually really cares about, so he always tries to get into the pissing contest with all the other schools that actually win stuff. But, whatever. Good for him. Gotcha, Brain. Go get a major. Tell you that Chris Sims never forgave Mac Brown. Mac Brown, look, man, playing favorites there. Phil's kid, everybody could see it. Major's the big. Muse, tell me, how do you bench the guy that's the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year for some freshman who can't ever rise up in a big moment?
Nepotism, Matt.
That's what it is. I guess it's not really nepotism. It's not his family.
I guess that's true.
Silver spoon at Chris Sims. But Major just kept trucking along. 60 touchdown passes. 4,000 yards. Just winning games, throwing dimes, and now head football coach, the South Alabama Jaguars. Congrats to Cali High alum. Cali High Grizzly great, as a matter of fact, Major Applewhite. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Another staff change there for Kalen DeBoer. Inside linebackers coach Robert Bala will not be retained. No announcement made, but Bala tweeted on Thursday afternoon that he was thankful for the opportunity on his way out in Tuscaloosa. No official hires have been announced yet by Kalen DeBoer but some assistants are expected to follow from Washington. Running backs coach Robert Gillespie, defensive line coach Freddie Roach are expected to stay.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Redshirt senior offensive lineman Dane Davis announced he will return to the Vols in 2024. 6'7", 325-pounder. Davis has played in 39 games at Tennessee. He redshirted back in 2009, but he's coming back, has the COVID year, so he will play his 6th season there on Rocky Top.
The Auburn Tigers.
Former Alabama cornerback Antonio Kite will transfer to Auburn. Kite played 9 games over the past 2 seasons with the Crimson Tide, 3 years of eligibility remaining. Auburn is replacing its entire secondary. You might remember we told you earlier this week, Auburn replaced Auburn added Jaron Thompson, a transfer from Texas, and now they're adding Kite, a transfer from Alabama, trying to rebuild that secondary. All right, on the hardwood in the conference last night, there were 3 games. We told you LSU beat number 22 Ole Miss 89-80, even though Ben Mintz was super sad that his Rebs didn't get any respect because why respect runs? You are what you are. Kentucky, no problems with Mississippi State there at Rupp Arena. 90-77 was the final. Tolu Smith had a really good day for Mississippi State, 26-8. And the final game in the conference, Auburn handed Vanderbilt its 4th loss to open SEC play. Auburn went on the road to Memorial Gym and beat up on Vandy 80-65. Auburn ranked 13th in the country now, 4-0 in the conference. Vandy falls to 0-4. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We are presented by Traction, TractionSports.com. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. They're back open over at Traction. A lot of places have been closed for a couple days because of the weather. But remember, I keep reminding you, if your son or daughter wants to be in the spring baseball or softball leagues, go to TractionSports.com to register them today. They start practice on the 29th of this month. So you are 11 days away from the start of practice. So that's crazy to think, I know. But if your son or daughter is going to play spring softball or spring baseball, get them registered now at TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. And also remember Traction Elite Physical Therapy. No matter if you're a weekend warrior, if you're a professional athlete, or if you're the weekend golfer, you like to jog recreationally, maybe you play in Ancient Athletes, you have an injury, a nagging ache or pain, you want to get back on the pickleball court, maybe you're like me, you've had back issues, whatever. I had told you I had knee surgery a few years back. After my knee surgery, I rehabbed at Traction Elite Physical Therapy. You get to choose where you go for physical therapy. Nobody chooses but you. Choose the best. Choose Traction Elite Physical Therapy right there at the Traction campus on Burbank. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Okay, y'all, we're glad to have you with us. We will. The Saints have announced, or they've leaked, several of the OC candidates that they are planning to interview. So we know the Saints earlier this week fired Pete Carmichael after 18 years in New Orleans. We've all sort of assumed several candidates. We're starting to learn which candidates the Saints are formally intending to interview. So we'll talk about some of them in about 17 minutes after the top of the hour. And Chris Dimino from 680 The Fan in Atlanta is going to be with us next hour as well. The Falcons have their 2nd interview with Bill Belichick scheduled. It looks like it's trending toward the greatest coach of all time coaching in the NFC South. So we'll talk about that with Chris Dimino here in about 30 minutes from right now. Jordan Wright of the LSU basketball team will be with us in hour 3. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, Pluckers is going to reopen on Monday. So I told you that with the unfortunate situation with the freeze this past Monday, Tuesday, there was a small kitchen fire at Pluckers on Nicholson. And as a result, they had to close. It wasn't not serious damage or anything, but it was enough that it warranted shutting down to make sure they were clean and ready to reopen. So the Bluebonnet location is open, though. So if you're heading toward the NFL weekend, you got the NFL playoffs, the divisional round, Saturday, Sunday, set up shop at Pluckers at Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Nicholson will be reopened on Monday. But if you want to watch your college basketball, your NBA, get by Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Tonight and every Thursday, all you can eat boneless buffalo bites. If you don't want to eat the wings on the bone like my wife, she hates to eat meat or chicken that has, that's like a bone-in thing. So she liked the boneless buffalo bites. You get them tossed in your favorite wing sauce every Thursday. Eat as many as you want at Pluckers. Both locations, but Nicholson closed until Monday, so get by Bluebonnet, Pluckers.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
The best kept secret.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
All right, we are wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're hanging out with us here. So earlier today, we learned that a couple things. Super Bowl's coming up on February the 11th. We knew that, but Ariba is going to sing the national anthem, country star Reba McEntire. Post Malone will perform America the Beautiful, and Andra Day will perform Lift Every Voice and Sing. Now, this might surprise you, but I have no idea what any of those three people sing. None whatsoever.
Nothing, really.
Literally nothing. I know who Reba McEntire is. I know who Post Malone is. The tats all over his face, short hair. And I've heard him sing before, and he's really talented.
Yes.
So, and I have no idea who Andra Day is. Couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I'm assuming it's a woman. Andra?
Yes, it is a woman.
Andra Day. Couldn't pick her out of a lineup. She walked in here, kicked me in the nuts. Would have no clue. So anyway, I figured let's do this, Muse. I tasked Muse. We'll turn the tables for our usual Pluckers trivia, where I ask Muse questions that he's definitely going to get wrong because he just doesn't know much about anything. So I said, let's table the turn here, and you Well, let's play a game of them or not. Can we have the game show music? Do you have it?
Yes. Hold on.
No worries, Muse. It's just a live radio
well,
show.
I was gonna click the plugs one, but we don't need the intro to it. Is all I was gonna do.
Okay.
So just hold on.
Whatever you say, Muse. It's your world. We're just living in it. But I would love it. Okay. That should be about good there, yeah?
Almost. And we are there.
Okay, let's play a game of them or nah. Is it them or not? You'll play a clip of a song, yes?
Yeah.
And you set it up then.
Well, no, I was going to play a clip of the song. You tell me if you think it is either Reba, Andrew Day, or Post Malone, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Or we can do it.
I feel like if you play a song, I would know their three, like I would be able to tell, like by process of elimination.
Okay, well then do you want me to just go, all right, here we're going to do the country portion, try to guess if this is Reba or not, and then we'll do the...
What I'm saying is you didn't set that up very well.
Okay, well then you set it up.
I'm going to try to put it on a tee for you. So the concept here is I'm not guessing which of the three it is. You're going to play a song and tell me, is this Reba or not? Is this Post or not? Is this Andra Day or not?
Okay.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
That's how you... Because we texted about this.
Yes, yeah.
That's what you did.
It can work, for sure.
Okay. Now, tell me what you got.
All right. Here's your first test here.
Hope you learn to trust your voice, make mistakes and make some noise. Hope you never lose your joy or your hunger.
So,
I mean, do you
ask me the question?
Okay, is that Reba? I'm so confused on this.
Christ
I'm not
almighty,
gonna lie.
You're going to play something and say, is this Reba McEntire or not?
Okay.
Is this Andrew Day or not?
All right.
Is this Post Malone or not? That's one of the girls. Which one are you assuming it was?
Is that Andrew Day or not?
Oh, I have no idea. It was beautiful, whatever it was.
It was pretty good, wasn't it?
I'm going to say it was.
It was not.
God, dog, who was that?
That is Rachel Platten.
I don't know who that is either. Who's Rachel Platten?
She's just a singer. I don't know. She's got a great voice.
That was really good. Not
All
gonna
right,
lie.
here you
Paulie,
go.
did you know that?
Sorry, Paul.
His mic's not on.
I know.
I didn't know who it was, but I knew that was not Andrew Day.
Okay. Do you know who Andrew Day is?
I know who she is, but I don't really know exactly what she's doing.
Okay, you'll be my phone a friend. All right, let's go.
All right, here, next one.
Randy got scared and left the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Walking on home cause he didn't live far. You see, Andy didn't have many friends and he just lost him.
All right, is that Reba, Andrew Day, or Post Malone?
No, you're missing the point of how this works, Muse. Damn it. This is not that hard.
Well...
You set it up by saying, Matt, I'm going to play this. You're going to tell me, is this Reba or not?
Okay, is that Reba or not?
That is Reba.
That is Reba.
Oh, yeah. I knew that was Reba. Yeah. That. I don't know. What song was that?
The night the lights went out in Georgia.
Okay. I'll
Great
tell you
song.
what, though. I didn't know that song, but boy, I could tell it was her voice.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right, you ready?
All right, so now, before you play it,
yeah,
you're going to ask me a question.
Yeah, is this Post Malone or not?
Okay.
We finally got it.
Everything that you say about me. My dogs like to play Madden and 2K, but one thing they don't do is play about me. My homeboy Tyler, he playing South Beach. He told me this summer he gonna fix my jumper.
Okay, I got enough. Now I need my phone a friend, because if there's anybody that would know that, it's Paul. All right, Paulie, was that Post Malone? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That was not Post Malone.
It was not.
Yeah! Boy.
That was Jack Harlow.
Teamwork makes the dream work, Paulie. We're crushing this game, you and me. All right, you got any more?
I do.
All right, let me hear it.
I do have another one.
Reba singing the national anthem for the Super Bowl. Post Malone, America the Beautiful, and Andra Day will sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. I don't know anything that any of these three sing, so we're playing Is It Them or Not?
All right. Is this Andra Day or not?
Okay. No, that's Adele. That's Adele. Get rid of that one. That's Andra Day? That's Andra Day?
Yes, that is Andra Day.
God, dog it. She sounds a lot like Adele, doesn't
A
she?
really good voice.
Hey, does that sound like... Did you know that?
I knew that was not Adele, but I didn't know that was Andrew Day.
I hate you, Paul. You're the worst. Just keep your mic off until we play another Post Malone song. What else you got, Muse?
Well, I was going to ask you, is this Post Malone
okay,
or
all right,
not?
Paul, then I need you to put your mic back on. All right. Oh, that's him, yeah? Well, yeah, okay. That is Post Malone. Yeah, look at that. I'm getting the Post Malone ones right because of Paul.
All right, we have time for a couple more if you
I'm over
want.
2 on Andrew Day, right?
Yeah. You want? Here's one more Reba. Is this Reba or not?
Okay, all right. That's no. I know who that is. That's Kelly Pickler.
That is not Kelly Pickler.
Damn it. That's not Reba.
It is not Reba.
So I got it right.
Yeah, well.
The question was it them or not?
Technically,
it's not
yes.
Reba.
You did get it right.
It was Kelly Clarkson.
It is not Kelly Clarkson.
It was Kelly Kapowski.
No, it is not a Kelly.
Okay.
It was Jody Messina.
I don't even know who that is. Don't really care. We got any more? I like this game.
Yeah, I do.
Hit me with another one.
I have
Give
one
me another
more.
one for post so Paul can help me.
We went through the post months. Is this Andrew Day or not?
You could read it on my face, and we won't let time fade us, 'cause the love's right here to stay.
I'm going no. I heard the last one. I knew it.
It was Alicia Keys.
Because the last one, that was Andrew Day. That was Andrew Day. I knew that wasn't the same person. Who was the first one again?
Rachel Platten.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked her. I like Post Malone, too. Bring him down. Maybe we should get him as a guest on the show. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Lee Michaels. Maybe if you're going to marry Rachel Platten, Muse, you can go to Lee Michaels, buy her a diamond ring, a gorgeous diamond ring. A gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry is sure to thrill her. And when you go to Lee Michaels, you're always going to get the Lee Michaels experience. One of the worst things, if you've ever walked into a jeweler, and it's the disheveled guy that pulls out a calculator and shows you how much that you're going to save. Like, do you honestly think they're not doing that for literally everybody that walks in? They're marking up the price of the jewelry to then just show you how much you're going to save. At Lee Michaels, why do you want to? You don't go through that. Go to Lee Michaels, where when you walk in, they're going to offer you a beverage. When you sit down, they're going to give you chocolates on a tray. You're going to feel like you're doing something very important, which you are. You're buying a diamond for the person that you love, that you'll have in your family forever, that might be gifted to your children and grandchildren down the line. Make that special. Let Lee Michaels help. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Online at lmfj.com.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. a family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin has 1 year to go on his contract, but he believes he'll be getting an extension during the offseason. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy has 1 year to go on his contract. The team has only one playoff win in his first 4 years on the job. But McCarthy believes in what he's building.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet. We know how to win. We know how to train to win. We have the right people, but we have not crossed the threshold of winning playoff games.
McCarthy says today the job is not finished. South Alabama will hire offensive coordinator Major Applewhite as the team's new head coach. Applewhite is the former coach at Houston. The Blue Jays will sign 26-year-old Cuban right-hander Yariel Rodriguez to a 4-year, $32 million contract, pending a physical and immigration clearance. Third-round coverage of the Australian Open starts at 9 Eastern tonight on ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. C.J. Stroud or Jordan Love. I'll tell you which young quarterback has the best chance to go on the road and pull off the upset. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomlin. I just read the text on the text line. From them or not. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Mark Wilson said Todd Graves and Post Malone are very good friends. Graves might have an in. That's true. Post Malone has done Kane's ads. So I could holler at Todd about the possibility of getting Post Malone on. You didn't think
That'd
about
be
that.
really cool, actually.
If you're just joining us, we just did this. We learned that today, Reba McEntire for the Super Bowl, Reba singing the anthem, Post Malone singing "America the Beautiful," and
Andrew Day.
Andrew Day is singing "Lift Every Voice and Sing." I do not know anything that I know who Reba McEntire is. I know who Post Malone is. I have no idea who Andrew Day is, and I don't know anything any of them sing. Now, Muse did point out to me that Reba sings a song called Fancy.
Yeah.
On its face, I didn't know what that was. And then how does it go, Muse?
Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down.
Yeah, there, attaboy. Attaboy. See,
Yeah.
Muse, we're getting you out of your shell. That's what we're doing. What? I mean, there was a time where you didn't want the Barbie girl drop, and look, we're getting you there. That was a fun segment. Tell me that wasn't fun.
No, I enjoyed it. It was a very fun segment once I kind of, realized exactly
once
how we
you
wanted
understood.
to do.
But that's everyone's crushing you. Like, how could you not understand the concept? Andrew Watson said, "What is wrong with Muso?" Like, dude, it's not that hard. He's been hanging with Mickey Loomis.
Look, I do love chewing gum. That is delicious. Not as fond of Dennis Allen as him, though.
Oh, man. And then my guy Q said the dumpster fire of this segment makes it so much better.
See, there you go.
I don't think it was a dumpster fire. I think we struggled to launch.
Yeah.
I made the assumption that you knew conceptually what we were trying to do. And me assuming that you knew what we were trying to do was the mistake. So I'll own it. I'll own that. I should have taken more time, been more diligent to make sure you understood what we were trying to achieve there. But I just didn't want you to give away answers or anything like that.
We're a team.
But it was fun.
I won't. Let
don't get me wrong. It was completely your fault.
Yes,
I'm being Derek Carr. I'm being Derek Carr. I'm being Derek Carr, right? It's where it's like, no, listen, I was wrong. No, like, yeah, I will. But he made the mistake. But I got to take ownership of it and be the,
I'll apologize to the artists for messing up the segment and their songs, like Dennis apologized to the Falcons.
Isn't that what Derek Carr did to on the interception against the Falcons? Like the 99-yard pick six in the first game, where he basically screwed up the coverage and everything just completely. It was his fault. He goes, yeah, but so-and-so made a great play. And I'm like, no, dog. You don't get to wiggle off the hook on that one. That was your fault. Anyway, okay. It is after further review. Speaking of the Saints, whenever Pete Carmichael was fired, I think everybody collectively all just starts throwing out names, right, of potential coordinator targets. And there are some that just make a lot of sense, right? I think everybody mentioned John Gruden, and it makes sense. John Gruden was with the Saints in camp. They sat down with him in Tampa a few weeks ago. His connection to Derek Carr, it makes sense. You've got Ronald Curry on staff. Makes a lot of sense. He's been on your staff. He called plays for sort of as a trial in the preseason. He's a hot young assistant that a lot of people are high on. It makes a lot of sense. There's some that you just connect the dots and make sense. But we're waiting on sort of formal interview announcements, like when the Saints were going to request. You have to formally request to interview another team's assistant, and we do know a couple of those now. According to Ian Rappaport, the Saints have requested permission to interview Seahawks OC Shane Waldron. So that's one that we know is now a formal request. So Shane Waldron is one. And the other that formally came down today, this was from Nick Underhill had it first over at NewOrleans.football. Saints have requested to interview Rams quarterback coach and passing game coordinator Zach Robinson. I think that was probably one of the names. That was one of the names we initially mentioned as well, which makes a lot of sense. When you look around the league and you know the old adage, the NFL is a copycat league. And so if you're looking at the offenses that are having success, you look at, okay, well, Sean McVay's tree with the Rams. You look at the San Francisco 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. I mean, obviously, and so how some of the branches have started to do really well, like Mike McDaniel in Miami, thriving there. So it would make a lot of sense that you're going to go look, like for years, teams did in New England. They always try to say, okay, New England's winning at a high clip. Let's go get guys from New England. That's how Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel, and who's the guy with the beard that had the pencil in his ear, whose name I can't remember right now, who's
Matt
in
Patricia.
Philly? Matt Patricia, who's in Philly now. Like, he got the Lions job. Josh McDaniel back in the day. It was just Bill O'Brien. People were trying to hire off the Belichick tree. It makes a lot of sense. In college, they do it. Same with Nick's coaching tree. So you're seeing it. So Shane Waldron's 44 years old. He's got a lot of NFL and college experience. Obviously, he's with the Rams, so the ties to Sean McVay and that offense make a lot of sense. And then Robinson is younger. So Waldron had ties with the Rams, who's now in Seattle. Robinson is currently with the Rams. He's 37 years old. He's been there since 2019. So he's got the title of passing game coordinator. He coaches the quarterbacks as well. So those are two that we know are formally getting an interview, along with the Bengals quarterbacks coach who we talked about yesterday. So three that we know that the Saints will formally interview for their OC job, and we'll see what direction they go. There's those three. The other two we mentioned, you got Curry in-house, and then the possibility of John Gruden, I think, persists. Although Jeff Duncan was here earlier in the week and made a really good point that John Gruden wants to be an NFL head coach. That's his desire. That's his end game. And that's great. But will any NFL team hire him now as a head coach, or does he need to get his foot back in the door as a coordinator and then work toward that? Listen, it's obviously there were different situations that they were in, but you could look at Dennis Allen, who was a head coach. He was a failed head coach. He got fired, was back on staff in New Orleans as sort of a defensive assistant, then became the interim defensive coordinator, and then head coach. It was a long path back to being a head coach, but maybe that's the start that John Gruden needs. So in any event, 3 candidates now formally interviewing for the New Orleans Saints OC job. As that continues and as that develops, we'll let you know. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com. That's pure-restoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. Of course, with all the freezing temps, the rain, the ice from this past week, if you had water intrusion in your home, you could have mold. You could need restoration services. Even if you need demo and build back, Pure Restoration can help. But the thing that separates them is their patented non-toxic dry fog. And remember, if you find yourself in need of mold remediation or other remediation demo build back services, you can always just send me a message, go, hey, Scone, what's the mold thing you always talk about? It's Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com, pure-restoration.com. Shoot me a note, shoot me a message. I'll always help you with the link to whatever you need. It's Pure Restoration. They'll come in, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll kill mold, odor, got pet odor, cigarette odor. Maybe, I talk about all the time, workout facilities, gyms. I remember taking Taekwondo when I was a kid, and there was carpet in the room where we trained, and it was just an unmistakable odor. And I loved it. It's great. It's kind of like going into your locker room, your football locker room. You smell all the odor of the pads. Well, there's a lot of bacteria causing that odor. You want to get rid of that? Boom. One fell swoop. Pure Restoration can do it with their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. We're going to head to Atlanta here in about 5 minutes. Chris Dimino is going to join us from 680 The Fan. Bill Belichick is set to interview for the second time for that job, for the Falcons job. The first interview was with Arthur Blank alone, just Belichick and Arthur Blank. The second interview apparently is going to be a little more wide-reaching. So we'll get some insight there. Hey, hat tip to LSU women's basketball player Flau'jae Johnson. If you missed this, Powerade, who did a national deal with Jaden Daniels during the football season, has signed 2 college basketball players, USC men's hoop standout Isaiah Collier, and then Flau'jae, who Flau'jae's got 3 million followers across her social media platforms. The On3 NIL valuation for Flau'jae is $1.1 million. I think it's always important to note that doesn't mean she's done over $1 million in deals. That's what they're saying based on her social media reach, appeal, awareness, all that. Her valuation would be that. It's like in a company. I mean, anyone can set a valuation for their company, whatever they want. It's a matter of is someone willing to recognize, acknowledge, and accept that valuation. So that's just what On3 has set her valuation at. But in any event, this is a great opportunity. She's going to be in national ad campaigns. So just like you saw Jaden Daniels on national Powerade commercials, you'll see Flau'jae on national Powerade commercials along with Isaiah Collier from USC. So good for her. It's a great opportunity, great representation and brand awareness for LSU as well. Meanwhile, LSU women's basketball after they lost to Auburn, they're back on the hardwood tonight at Bama at 8 o'clock. See if the LSU women's basketball team, the defending champs, can get back in the win column tonight. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're here. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll head to Atlanta. Chris Dimino joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. I tell you all the time about Tallulah inside the Renaissance, and they have a great series of events that's evenings at the Renaissance. And so what they're doing over there in Tallulah, when you walk into the Renaissance, you'll see Tallulah's right there in the lobby of the Renaissance Hotel. And it's a great opportunity to try new foods and cocktails and pairings and tastings and have a night out. The Craft Spirits and Cocktail Magic event, a tasting with our friends over at 7-3 Distilling, is tomorrow. So if you're interested, my understanding is there's still tickets available. So go to TallulahRestaurant.com. That's TallulahRestaurant.com. You're going to be able to sample the Amaro Sour and Fruity Pebble Milk Punch and a lot of great tasting and cocktail tasting experiences with our friends from Tallulah Restaurant and 7-3 Distilling.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford F-150 lifted trucks. $10,000 off new Ford F-150 and 3.9% financing. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Reports today, Bill Belichick will have a second interview for the Falcons job. It's kind of odd that it would even need one. Just show your rings. You want the job? Let's find out what's going on over in the ATL. Chris Dimino, 680 The Fan, good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us. How are you, man?
Doing well, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Before I get to Belichick, can I go back just to get some context on Arthur Smith? What was the reaction to the decision to fire him?
Yeah, it was the move. 21-30, if that wasn't bad enough. 7 wins 3 years in a row. That's not really good. I just think people thought with the toys, 8-8-4, wide receiver, tight end, running back, you were brought here to be an offensive guy. You're averaging 14 on the road, 19 and change overall. You know, if you're not doing that part of the job, the reason you got the job, nobody even wanted great. In this division, you need great. But he wasn't doing it well. And I think everybody at that point said, Arthur Blank did what he was supposed to do. Now, again, are you supposed to wait one more year to see if he can be turned around? I don't think anybody in this town, you couldn't have sold him being the head coach of this team next year. There's no way you could have social media-wise, ticket-wise, hey, we're going to get it, he's ready to roll. It just wouldn't have worked. And I do think from a business point of view, as well as from a what's your emotional investment point of view, this town would have had apathy. I think anger would have been done. I think it would have been pure apathy if he had come back. And Arthur Blank knows that, and he's a businessman, and I'm not telling you the infamous worry about what's being said about you on social media, but I do think with the building not as crowded as it's supposed to be, and people not really believing that this guy is head coach material, let alone offensive coordinator material with these pieces, it was time.
Is Bill Belichick the guy?
So look, I'm a field guy. If you give me a chance to bet the field, I'll always bet the field.
Okay.
Is this the easiest connect the dots? Absolutely. The Robert Kraft, I'm going to tell you something. I said something on the air weeks ago. And I said, let me tell you, Kirby Smart is the guy that I would hire before anybody else. And Kirby Smart's not even taking your phone call because as much as the college life is more straining on a coach, nobody has it better than Kirby Smart right now. I said then the next question is going to be, is Bill Belichick, who everybody thought the writing was on the wall, is that just going to be a fait accompli? And it certainly feels that way. But again, I'll still bet the field because I want to take a chance with something happening. He says no, somebody else wants him. That job is better. We can't settle on the power structure. I think all those things are still in play. Bill Belichick is the odds-on board favorite, but I just know stuff goes wrong, man, especially when you're talking about a pyramid of power. And I don't think Bill Belichick, even though he plays I'm 71, all I want to do is really what's best for the team. While I believe that, I think he believes that what he does is always going to be best for the team.
Chris, the interesting thing about Belichick is, like, if you're going to hire him, I don't even know why you would need to go through the process. So what should I mean, when you came on, you heard me say, but like, what is the process here? Like, what are they talking about? If Belichick's your guy, he's your guy, hire him. But what's the process?
But you know that, let's just talk about what the Rooney Rule is and isn't. I'd hate to be a guy who comes in and gets pawned. I'm sort of being used.
Sure.
I like what the Rooney Rule is in theory. I just don't know how, if a guy, Arthur Blank or any owner, has a guy in mind, he knows he can get the deal done. You've still got to do all the other stuff. And I'm not going to call it a dog and pony show, but if Mike Tomlin is the screaming example of the Rooney Rule working, that was 17 or 18 years ago. So I agree. Look, here's what I would also say, though. 5 years ago, people in the league would have fired their guy, no matter how good he was, for Bill Belichick. That's not the market for Bill Belichick now. And I think whether it's people think he might be a short-timer, whether he can't get along with the other side of the building, and I don't mean sales and marketing and social media. I'm talking about capologists and draft guys. He has to sort of speak to that in a way that he never would have, because not only the way it's gone in New England for the last few years, but you've got to figure out what the power I don't want to call it a power struggle. You're going to look to avoid a power, but what's the power structure going to be that you don't have a problem? And whatever the problem might be, he didn't understand his role. I have control of 46 and 53. You have control of 90. Who shows up? You've got to have that stuff laid out. You kept your general manager when you fired your coach. If it's not a good year this year, Fontenot's going no matter who the coach is. If Bill Belichick doesn't want Terry Fontenot, they're not going to fire him. What they're going to do is they're going to send him on the road to go scout, and they'll get him out of the building. But I don't think he wasn't at the press conference when they fired Arthur Smith, which was really glaring. It was a big topic of conversation here. And while they talked about a 50-50, two guys, coach and GM, report to Rich McKay, if you hire Bill Belichick, that's not what's going to happen. You're not going to tell Bill, hey, Bill, here's the way we do it here. You know that, and I know that. So they have to have it all settled before people say, okay, we're good. We have an understanding. At a minimum, it's an understanding before the whole thing gets started.
Chris Dimino is with us, 680 The Fan there in Atlanta. He's on Twitter at Chris Dimino. Talking about the Falcons' vacant head coaching position. Fascinating. They're going to have a second interview with Bill Belichick. Chris, we know they've also formally interviewed Jim Harbaugh. They've interviewed Brian Johnson with the Eagles. If I asked you, what is the best case, the ideal scenario, if it could play out? What is that ideal scenario?
For me, it's Harbaugh and him picking his quarterback. Now, I'd ask the question of the guys that I work with and in my building. What if Jim Harbaugh says to you, I want J.J. McCarthy? Now, I'm not picking him eighth. We're going to figure out how and there's no guarantee you get him because it is a draft. You just don't, it's not a portal. Let's just say he thinks that J.J. McCarthy, he's been in the league, he might know what wins. Would you let him pick the quarterback? If he is set on a quarterback, it's a little bit different than saying, we're going to give you all the information, pick a quarterback. But for me, it's Harbaugh. Harbaugh picking the quarterback is the best scenario around here. Now, people can get mad at me, but I believe this. I think Jim Harbaugh's resume is actually better than Bill Belichick's, and I'm not dumb. I know what 6 Super Bowls is. Nobody's ever done it. Jim only has 1 championship, but he's gone into multiples of places and turned them around. He doesn't want to stick around very long. I believe that if you talk to the people in San Francisco, he not only wears out his welcome, he becomes a bona fide pain in the ass. But if I can get 3 or 4 years out of that, get it right, then that's what you do. Look, Tampa's in a $80 million hole, but they got a Super Bowl. They got Tom Brady to say yes to them. I mean, I don't know how valuable it is, but I'm assuming it's valuable. And if the Falcons, who just got out of cap hell, if I get 4 years out of Jim Harbaugh and he actually coaches up the quarterback that he wants, That's the scenario I will take around here more than any other if I was given my choice.
Chris, what is the best or most realistic quarterback scenario? I mean, assuming Desmond Ritters and Taylor Heineke aren't going to be the guy. What is that scenario?
It's maybe trading for Justin Fields and, putting the Bears in a position of, wow, they've got a lot of picks and they're going to be able to have some fun. If they want to take Caleb Williams or anybody else at 1, they could also end up with your, 8 or your 43 in the second round. I don't know. I have no idea what Justin Fields is actually worth in the draft, but you could do that. Or you could stay at 8 and maybe you hope for Penix. If you want Jaden Daniels, you're going to have to move up. And I would trust Harbaugh to make that decision more than Bill Belichick. I would trust probably Slowick. I would trust probably Ben Johnson to make that choice. But I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to be there at 8. I don't think, you could stay at 8 and tell me that at the press conference you got the guy exactly you wanted, but that's what you're going to do. I think an offensive guy picking the quarterback becomes the most important thing at this point. But I can also tell you, I'm having people tell me the first 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. Well, that would mean that Justin Fields is gone, right? And I think they're talking to Cliff Kingsbury about being something, quarterback coach, offensive whisperer, whatever the hell it might be. And I don't know if that means Kingsbury knows what he would do with either Caleb Williams, because that's a connect the dots. And at that point, maybe you get Justin Fields if you want a guy who is at least taking snaps in the NFL.
Right. So obviously for those that Caleb Williams at SC, where Cliff Kingsbury's been, they're talking about bringing him to Chicago with the Bears, and the Bears have the first pick. So if the Bears end up drafting a quarterback, the assumption is Justin Fields would be gone, maybe to Atlanta, which wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Here's the problem with that, though. Then you have a year, basically, kind of 2, to figure out if Justin Fields is a $40 million guy. Because at some point, you're going to either have to extend him or let him loose. If you trade commodities, the right amount, too many draft picks, and you don't have him or he doesn't play well for you for a year or 2, then all of a sudden it really gets washed out. So there's a financial part to it as well. You'd love to pick a quarterback at 8 and have him be the Russell Wilson where you win the Super Bowl without having to pay him.
Right.
I just don't know if that's really going to be possible at this point.
A couple more. I got 2 more for you, Chris. And Chris Dimino is our guest, 680 The Fan in Atlanta. Number 1 is Arthur Blank has never, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm almost positive I read this. He's never hired a coach that had previously been a head coach.
Right.
So why is that? What's the train of thought there with Blank making these hires?
So I've had a 20-year relationship with Arthur Blank, but I can tell you it sort of went to crap at the press conference when they talked about Arthur Smith being fired, because I used the word crapshoot. I said at the end of the day, how big a net you cast, all the data points that you have, all the work that you do, it's like a quarterback. Aren't we allowed to say that hiring the coach is a crapshoot? Well, Arthur got mad at me. He said, crapshoot. I mean, I'll paraphrase, but he said, if I thought it was a crapshoot, I'd get out of this business. So he's not very happy that I used that. Now, had I said 50-50 proposition, maybe it would have played well. Maybe the plane would have landed more nicely in terms of the conversation. But Mike Smith was maybe the 3rd or 4th choice. He turns out to be the most successful coach the franchise has ever had. Dan Quinn was the hottest commodity. He got you to the Super Bowl. Arthur Smith was the hottest commodity on the offensive side. And it's 21-30, and 3 years later, you're looking for a head coach. I do think that he wants to go in a different direction, but I can tell you, if it's Bill says no, the offensive coordinator in Houston or Detroit becomes really interesting again, because that's the history here. I just don't know if you can do that again after Arthur Smith. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to kill the son for the sin of the father, but it almost feels like if you go to the hottest coordinator again, are you going down a road where 3 years from now we found out the guy couldn't wear the big boy headset? And look, my problem with Arthur Smith might be a nice guy and all that other stuff. He said one day in a post-game press conference, and he was terrible at it. He tried coach-splaining. He talked down to people. I don't think he meant to, but I think he needed charm school. But he said at one point, oh, there was injury talk in my head and throw the flag. And I said, oh, my God, he's just admitting that this might actually be too much for him. What you get with a guy who's been a head coach is you believe having the big boy headset on, went to take it off and go to talk to somebody on the sideline. This guy's figured that part out. Arthur Smith had his nose in that play sheet like it was the greatest thing ever. Like it was, seriously, it just came down from the mount. and people got a little tired of that play sheet being the most important relationship that he had in the building. And it wasn't working because you weren't scoring enough points, even while that was going on. So would you go down the road of the hottest offensive coordinator again after it just flamed out? I think you'd be a little bit hard-pressed to maybe do that Get the guy who's got experience.
The last thing is I want to dig a little deeper on what you alluded to earlier, which is Kirby, which might be of great importance or interest to a lot of people. Chris, I had heard, not that this is anything like super, but that the Falcons might have interest in Kirby, and that he might have some interest because of the college game, the portal, the NIL, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Like, did they kick the tires there? Is there any talk in Atlanta, in Georgia there about Kirby potentially being an NFL guy eventually?
So here's the great news for the University of Georgia. He's not taking another college job. There's not another college job on the planet or any other planet that he's leaving for. Could he get tired of all the stuff that goes on? We had Herm Edwards on today. When I said, okay, Herm, just clarify this for everybody. Which job is easier, the NFL job or the college job? He said, oh, my God, the NFL job is easier. But if you're at a place that's winning and they're giving you all the money and resources that Kirby has, he's got it as great as you can have it in college. He doesn't need the NFL right now in his life. I would have called him. I would have made him say no, and here's what I would have said. And this is what Georgia fans get mad when you say, don't tell him to call our guy. Here's what I would do. Right. Here's what I think he would have been the best choice. I honestly do. The best choice. He was with Nick, I think, at 15 in Miami for a minute, so he's tasted the NFL. But I'm even inviting him to coffee, and I'm going to ask him about rooms. I'm going to ask him about morale. I'm going to ask him about, how have you gotten the buy-in? I want to pick your brain. If you don't do that around here, with all these interviews you do with coaches, of course you're looking to glean something out of a guy. You're looking to see if the guy gives you a pearl. Who better than Kirby Smart right now to go to and say, tell me why guys wanted to come back for another year. Tell me why Brock Bowers wanted back. Tell me why Brock Bowers, coming off of surgery, wanted to play for you and this group of men. I'd have that conversation all day long with Kirby Smart. I hope they do that. I don't think they are. I don't know if they did. Certainly as a public if they did. But I'm a little tired of search firms. I'm a little tired of spending $75. I got a guy down the street who would be more valuable than 10 search firms lined up telling me how smart they are. You got to go to smart people to get some answers.
He is Chris Dimino, 680 The Fan, on Twitter at Chris Dimino. Y'all give him a follow. We're watching. Looks like Belichick could be the guy, or maybe it's the field.
Yeah.
Will be interesting. Chris, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, Matt. Have a really good day.
You do the same. Good stuff there. It's fascinating. I mean, half the division is looking for a new head coach there with Carolina and Atlanta. And Atlanta, if you missed the news, is going to interview Bill Belichick for the second time. It's getting pretty serious there, and that is the odds-on favorite where Bill Belichick will land, which would be unprecedented for the Falcons, for Arthur Blank, for Bill Belichick, but we'll follow it and see. All right, we'll continue. It's AFR.
AFR.
Had that hard freeze earlier this week, and even though the temperatures are starting to get a little bit warmer, we're supposed to freeze again this weekend. And I mentioned this the past couple of days, but I was talking to Teresa over at Clegg's, and she mentioned, once the freeze is over, don't be in a hurry to go cut back your damaged plants. Wait until spring to do your pruning. And the reason, she said, was, look, if you prune too early, the plant may actually re-sprout and then freeze again with the next cold spell. Well, the next cold spell is going to be this weekend, and we all know how it goes in Louisiana. We'll be hanging around the box March and probably beginning of April, and you have one more really cold weekend because that's always how it kind of goes around here. So take your time, be patient, and if you need help, you can always go see our friends at Clegg's Nursery, any of the 4 locations: Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. They've been helping our community for more than 60 years. Go see our friends today at Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Rolling along, glad to have you with us here. Jordan Wright, huge night last night for LSU. He put up a stat line that only Tremont Waters, according to Cody Worsham over at LSU, only Tremont Waters and Ben Simmons have done since 2010. Incredible night for Jordan Wright. He's going to be with us here in about a little more than 30 minutes from right now, but 5:15. Looking forward to having the Tiger on with us here. So a lot still to get to. Dennis Dodd put out a list today with all the hullabaloo around Jim Harbaugh interviewing for NFL jobs of potential candidates for Michigan should have come open. He did mention Brian Kelly. I'll give you some thoughts on that next hour as well. So we're glad to have you aboard with us here. Okay, every Thursday, Muse Pauly and I, during the NFL season, we kind of do the what to watch thing. Well, it's the divisional round. There's only 4 games. So I figured, here's what we'll do. We'll just divvy it up, and we'll just all tell you what we're watching in a specific game. So, Muse, hit it, please.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
I think you got the worst one of the batch, didn't you, Muse? Which one do you have?
No, I have Texans and Ravens.
Okay, Texans.
I'm actually really intrigued with this ball game.
Okay.
You might remember these two teams played week 1. This was C.J. Stroud's debut. Was in Baltimore, and he played well, 242 yards, didn't throw a touchdown or anything like that, but everyone came out of that going, okay, wait, C.J. Stroud might have something. He did. So how can he do going up against this Ravens defense again? Lamar Jackson's been very good offensively, but the Ravens defense has been awesome down the stretch and really leading into the #1 seed. Another thing, Matt, the Ravens rested their starters week 18, had to bye. The last time they had the #1 seed in 2019, they did that. They got destroyed by the Tennessee Titans. I go back and forth with that. So how do they do after 2 days off? For what it's worth, they did win the game coming off their bye in the regular season. And lastly, injury report, man. 16 players on the injury report for the Titans, 10 for the Ravens. Most guys are going to play. I think there's a total of 3 guys out in between the two teams. But got that many guys on the injury report, they're not 100%. Which team's the least amount banged up, I think, wins it. I think Houston has a great chance in this game.
Okay. Man, pretty significant underdog. See if they can get it done. All right, hit the little swooshy palooshy there. Paulie, what you got over there? Oh, you got Green Bay, San Fran, don't you?
Green Bay in San Francisco. Wow.
Hey.
Words. These two teams have 2 young quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. Green Bay is coming off the big beatdown against the Dallas Cowboys. So Jordan Love has thrown 21 touchdown passes, only 1 interception over his last 9 games. We're also looking at Brock Purdy. Could this be a playoff rebound? If you remember last year, he injured his elbow on the first drive of the NFC title game against the Eagles last season. And I'm also with Moose here, kind of the bye week hangover for the 49ers. Will it cost them? But my player to watch in this game will be Christian McCaffrey. After missing the regular season finale with the calf injury, McCaffrey will be back this week. He led the NFL in rushing. He was tied for most touchdowns, 21, and had the most first downs in the league, 114. The last meeting between these two teams was in the divisional round in 2022, where the Packers lost to the 49ers 13-10. That was an Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy G game.
Oh.
Wow.
What was the final? 13-10?
13-10.
Oh.
Wow.
49ers over the Packers.
Is that in Lambeau?
I'm not sure. I believe so.
Makes sense, the score.
Don't go with I believe so. Be sure if you're going to go. Be sure. Anyway, all right. Good job, Paulie. Let's see. All right, I'll take the 2 games on Sunday. And the first one's going to be Tampa against Detroit. You might remember these 2 teams met earlier this season in Week 3, so you're seeing a lot of rematches this season. So when Detroit played Tampa earlier this year, that game finished 20-6. It was down in Tampa, and that day the Bucs ran for just 46 yards against Detroit's defense. So can the Bucs run the ball? That is going to be a big factor, especially because Ford Field. We saw what a home field advantage that was for the Lions this past weekend. So, look, they got their first playoff win since 1991. The Lions are going to be a win away from the NFC Championship game. That place is going to be on tilt. The game is indoors, so the weather won't matter. No?
Yeah, I mean...
I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, that was rough. That was...
For those that missed it, there was a reporter that asked Todd Bowles about preparing for his team to play in Detroit with the frigid temperatures. They've played in a dome for 50 years. I mean, what? By the way, kids, it's always important when you go into a press conference. Have questions prepared.
Yes.
Don't go off the cuff in a press conference. I see people do it all the time. And you ask awful rambling questions. Like, I always go into press conferences with questions written down that I want to ask, that I've prepped and thought about. You're going to get better. You're going to get better answers. Wait, I feel bad for it. Everybody's done it at some point.
It was raw. I mean,
that was
it's a tough scene. Tough scene, man.
Goff versus Baker, 2 former number 1 overall picks. Same that we had last week with Goff and Matt Stafford. But obviously they were interchangeable as they were part of that trade. But I'll keep going back to it, man. Can Tampa Bay run the ball? Ran for only 46 yards against Detroit when they played earlier this season down in Tampa. I think that's going to be the key to the game on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
The swoosh thing?
Yeah, okay.
And KC Buffalo, these 2 teams are the longest consecutive 10-win seasons. KC, 6 straight seasons of 10 wins or more. Buffalo, 5 consecutive seasons of 10 wins or more. They've matched up 3 times in the playoffs. This will be the first playoff matchup since the 2 quarterbacks, I should say. Since the 21 divisional round, that was the 13-second game where it looked like Buffalo was going to advance. Mahomes, they had 13 seconds. We know what happened there. But this is actually the 7th time that Mahomes and Allen will have matched up, regular season or postseason, since the start of the 2020 season. So these are arguably the 2 best, most talented quarterbacks. Josh Allen has 24 touchdowns in 9 playoff games. Mahomes has 26 touchdowns in 9 playoff games. These have been very talented, effective quarterbacks. And really, I hate to say it, I'm kind of watching the weather. I would hate to think weather's going to impact this game, but they're expecting more snowy conditions in Buffalo. You've seen them digging out in Buffalo. You'd hate to think that the weather would impact a game like this, but it's the benefit of having home field when you're a cold weather team or if you're a domed team and not having to go to a cold weather. Now, I understand it was -4 in Kansas City this past weekend, but cold is one thing, snow is another, and we'll see how the conditions affect the game with Kansas City and Buffalo Sunday there in upstate New York. All right, that's what we're watching this weekend. We're brought to you by HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. All of our crews are back out now that the freeze, the Arctic blast has passed. We're assessing a lot of damage. So if you have or think you might have had roof damage as a result of the freeze, the ice, the frozen precipitation on your roof, give us a shout. HUDCO Roofing. If you're in Baton Rouge, it's 364-1007, 364-1007, or you can go to HUDCOroofing.com. If you go to HUDCOroofing.com, look at the top of the page, and you'll see a phone number for every area code in Louisiana. So no matter where you are in the state, I had a friend in Mandeville who lives on the North Shore who asked me if we'd come to Covington. Yes, service the entire state of Louisiana. Just go to HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Remember, commercial roofs as well. I tell you every day about that silicone coating product that we offer at HUDCO Roofing. Comes with a 20-year warranty and roughly half the cost of a roof replacement. If it's commercial or residential repairs or replacements, do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review. Been a really good show. You miss anything AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. Couple of things. Looks like Lance Hurd. It's 247 reporting Lance Hurd is headed to Tennessee. He'll be a Vol. That's not official yet, but that's being reported by 247 Sports. And Wilson Alexander also reported today that Jake Olson, the Missouri analyst who has followed Blake Baker to Baton Rouge, will serve as the safeties coach at LSU. So the staff has kind of fallen into place as well. LSU needs to ultimately make a decision what they're going to do at OC. All that we're hearing is they are trending toward a co-OC situation with Cortez Hankton and Joe Sloan, with Sloan calling plays. But again, like the caveat I always give with coaches, coaching searches, etc. It's never done until it's done, signed, on the dotted line, ink dry, press release out. So we'll wait on all that official word from LSU. But Wilson Alexander reporting that Olson will be the safeties coach, while Corey Raymond will coach cornerbacks. So a little bit of a newsy day today as well. We'll continue to follow it here in the final hour 15 of the show. We're glad you're with us. Thursday show is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We'll knock out a break. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. Stick around.
AFR.
Our friends over at Action Industries are hiring. I encourage you so much. They put plenty of content on LinkedIn, so make sure you're following Action Industries on LinkedIn. They've been serving the petrochemical and refinery markets since 1982. Y'all, 41 years. Actually coming up on 42 years now. They're as old as I am. I was born in July of 82. Action Industries is as old as me, and their hair looks way better. It's Action Industries, and they are hiring A-class carpenters, A-class pipe fitters, heavy equipment operators from 15-ton, 50-ton, 90-ton, combo welder. It's Action Industries. Here's the website if you want to learn more. Action, INDINC.com is an Action Industries Incorporated. Action, INDINC.com, or you can call the hiring office at 402-0645, 402-0645, 402-0645 for Action Industries.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
We go to break, and I mean, literally seconds after we go to break, the official LSU football Twitter account now has put out formally that LSU has hired Kevin Peoples. They are officially calling him the edge rushers coach. Jake Olson, the safeties coach. That's okay, Paul. You can leave it up. The safeties coach. And then Corey Raymond, the secondary coach, is how they're phrasing it. So LSU has now formally announced those three additions. We previously knew Blake Baker and Bo Davis, and now today, I mean, literally seconds after we talk about it and go to break, boom, 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 here come the tweets. Like, are they just sitting there going, we're going to listen to Moscona, wait for him to say, and then mess with him and post it like 55 seconds later?
That'd actually be pretty funny if they were doing that.
They might be. Whatever. But it is official now, which is great news. You have one staffer left to hire, and it's very likely going to be a tight ends coach, and we've given you the names already that we've heard. I've heard two. I've heard Slade Nagel and John McNulty. So I would assume on the offensive side it'll be one of those two. But we'll wait. We'll wait and see what Brian Kelly elects to do, or if he wants to go a completely different direction. We'll wait and see. And when we have news, we'll talk about it. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Alrighty, let's start it off with the NBA action from last night, and we'll start it off with Naz Reid. 23 minutes off the bench for the Timberwolves. 9 points off of 3 of 9 shooting, 4 rebounds, stole the ball 3 times as well. Another positive night in the plus-minus for Naz as he continues to be a major contributor to the first place Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference.
Should have stayed.
Cam Thomas, 22 minutes off the bench last night for the Nets. Only the 8 points, did add 4 assists, though. A bit of a colder shooting night for Cam after coming off a back-to-back 20-plus point performances, I should say. Ben Simmons again sat out with that back injury that's been bugging him. Try to get you an update on that as the week goes on, and of course, into next week. He was supposed to be back at some point in the month of January. Of course, the Nets were facing the Portland Trailblazers. Duop Reith, the Blazers found themselves a player in Duop Reith. 17 points last night and 7 boards. Shot 7 of 9 from the floor. Also dished out 3 assists. He's been starting for them pretty regularly, and, I mean, had double-double to start the week, another double-figure night, and then another one here again. Found themselves something, 27-year-old rookie. To the golf course, Sam Burns fires a first-round 66 at the American Express. Started his round 1 over par through 3 holes. Played the final 15 in 7 under. 7 birdies, no bogeys the rest of the way. Gives him the 66. Tied for 19th Little bit of a rougher day for Ben Taylor, but still under par on the red numbers there. 2 under 70 for him, tied for 97th, but another round to go. It was rocky on the back nine for him with 3 bogeys and 3 birdies. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Hey, we're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. First South Farm Credit is how you buy land. Your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. Remember, the first overall pick of the 1989 MLB draft was Ben McDonald. Well, you hear Ben McDonald talk about First South Farm Credit for years. That's how he financed his hunting property, First South Farm Credit. One thing I've not mentioned to you yet, though, and I can't wait to start and continue telling this story, is the patronage refund. So First South Farm Credit is owned by their borrower members, their member borrowers. So every year, for the last 30 years, First South Farm Credit has issued a patronage refund, which is a dividend paid out to its member borrowers. Yes, they share the profits with you. It's First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
All right, y'all, looking forward to having Jordan Wright with us in 20 minutes from right now. LSU basketball player, big win for the Tigers last night. Always look forward to telling you about Shawbills because they're the best. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Listen, the freeze has come and gone, and with the icy conditions and the cold conditions, a lot of you probably had revealed to you issues with your tires. Maybe there's not enough tread on the tires. Maybe they're worn down. Maybe it's time for a tire rotation. Maybe it's time for new tires. Where do you go? You go to Shawbills, where Shawbills, of course, has kept all of Louisiana rolling for more than 50 years, since 1968 when they opened their doors. Listen, if you want to buy tires, you go to Shawbills because they're going to sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. Always ask about the Shawbills credit card. Go to the website, hit the promotions tab. You'll see all the discounts that they offer on all the tires that they sell. It's ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford F-150 lifted trucks. $10,000 off new Ford F-150 and 3.9% financing. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Steelers owner Art Rooney tells the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette he plans to extend Coach Mike Tomlin's contract during the offseason. 3 days after walking out of a news conference when getting asked about his contract, Tomlin says today his fire for the job has intensified.
I just believe there's a time and place for everything, and post-game press conferences are probably not the place to address contract issues and things of that nature. It's just a very individual thing, and on game day, I doubt any of us are in that mindset. Certainly I am not.
Mike Tomlin. ESPN's Josh Weinfuss reports the Arizona Cardinals fire 3 high-ranking officials today. A 4th left the team on his own. In all, a number of changes after an ESPN investigation found that current and former employees were subjected to abusive and intimidating behavior. Miami Hurricanes tight end Cam McCormick will be back with the team in the fall for one final season, his 9th year in college football.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Jordan Wright of the LSU basketball team going to be with us here in about 15 minutes from right now. Looking forward to talking to Jordan after a monster performance last night. Referenced it a few times on the show today, but Cody Worsham had a tweet earlier, which was pretty remarkable context around the night that Jordan Wright had yesterday for LSU. 27.7 rebounds, 5 steals, 7 assists for Jordan Wright, and that has only been done 2 other times since the 2010-2011 season. I'm looking for the tweet exactly. Here it is. All right, here's the tweet from Cody. 27, 7 steals, 5 assists. Only Tremont Waters and Ben Simmons have had a 25, 5, 5, and 5 game since the 2010-2011 season. That's pretty remarkable, man. I mean, you're talking about Tremont and Ben Simmons, 2 of the best players of the last 15 years. Ben Simmons, one of the most a transcendent talent, one of the greatest talents that's ever been through. And I know people don't love the way that it ended with Ben Simmons, but what always sort of amazes me is how much the context people and perspective that people lack on what Ben Simmons did in his lone season in Baton Rouge. The team success wasn't there, but it wasn't his fault. I mean, he did damn near everything that season. So congrats to Jordan Wright on a great game last night. Tigers win. They beat Ole Miss to move to 3-1 in the conference. He beats 22nd ranked Ole Miss. Now the Tigers have a road win against Texas A&M, a home win against 22nd ranked Ole Miss, and they truck along 3-1 in conference play. They've already bested their conference win total of a year ago. So we're looking forward to having Jordan Wright with us here in just a few minutes to talk about last night and about how the season's going so far. All right, glad to have you aboard with us. If you're just now joining the sort of newsy things of the day today, 247 Sports is reporting Lance Hurd is headed to Tennessee. And we also learned today that Fitzgerald West, former LSU lineman, is headed to ULL. So he is from Lafayette Christian, so he'll finish his career in his hometown, which is awesome. And then it was, here we go. Wilson Alexander earlier today reported that Jake Olson will be safeties coach for LSU, and LSU has now formally announced 3 defensive assistants to the staff. Kevin Peoples will coach edge rushers for LSU. He, of course, comes to LSU from Missouri, where he was on staff there with Blake Baker. Jake Olson, as Wilson Alexander reported, joins LSU as the safeties coach. So he'll be in the secondary. He was an analyst at Missouri a year ago. Remember, he was on staff at LSU for that 1 year with Blake Baker in an off-field role as well. But back in Baton Rouge at LSU in an on-field role. Also back at LSU, Corey Raymond, it is official, LSU making the announcement. Not as cornerbacks coach, but as secondary coach. So, one of the things that I know when Corey was here prior, Corey had the title of, he was the defensive backs coach. And for, when he got here in 2012, up until 2018, Corey was the defensive backs coach. And, Dave Aranda, when he sort of, he passed on the overtures from Texas A&M. One of the things that was official, one of the things that Dave Aranda wanted as sort of a contingency was he wanted to be able to add another coach in the secondary. He wanted a safeties coach to split the duties, and he brought in Bill Bush. And I know that didn't sit well. Now, Corey doesn't necessarily have leverage now like he might have then. But it is interesting how they've worded this, because Olson is coming in as the safeties coach, but as they said in this official release, Corey Raymond will be the secondary coach. So how they structure things at practice, whether they do some drills together as a unit, corner safeties, or they split it up, however, that's for them to determine. I thought Ryan Clark probably described it best, as I heard at one point, which was splitting it up with a corners coach and a safeties coach would be like if you had on the offensive line, you had a guards coach and a tackles coach. Like, you need that unit to work as one, which makes a lot of sense, right? Well, so too in the secondary, when you're playing coverages, you need that unit to all be in concert with each other. So it does make some sense. I will be very curious. The titles are as LSU has laid them out here now, but I'll be curious how they functionally do that on the field in practice and throughout the spring. They'll have a great opportunity in spring to sort of tinker with that and roles and everything, and then obviously they'll be running in fall camp. So LSU's made it official with 3 new assistants. They had previously announced Blake Baker, Bo Davis. Today, just minutes ago, formally announcing Corey Raymond, Jake Olson, and Kevin Peoples as 3 defensive assistants. So your defensive staff is set. Offensively, you've got Frank Wilson, Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, Brad Davis. You have 1 more spot open on staff. My assumption is that's going to be a tight ends coach, be it Slade Nagel or John McNulty, the 2 names we've talked about, or if they add a special teams coach, split duties, we'll see how they do it. But if they do add a tight ends coach, which seems the most plausible, right? How do you handle special teams? It's been a bugaboo the last 2 years. According to the way they might shake this out, if they do add a tight ends coach, you will not have a designated special teams coordinator. So who would handle that role? That's the big question Brian Kelly still has to answer here as he puts the final piece in place on his coaching staff. All right, it's after further review. Of course, we're brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, y'all. Heading to the divisional round this weekend. If you want to bet, DraftKings has a great opportunity. If you're a new customer, you hear us talk every day. You hear Jimmy coming here for Otter Locks. You always hear us talk about betting, even if it's just a few bucks, here or there. It's fun to have a little skin in the game. And the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is letting you do that. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, make a $5 bet on the NFL playoffs. and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, make a $5 bet on the NFL playoffs, and instantly they'll give you $200 in bonus bets. Check it out. This is the time with the NFL playoffs here to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, make a $5 NFL playoff bet, and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And there is a no-risk same-game parlay for every NFL game day throughout the playoffs. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Get in the game. Have a little fun at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
21 plus, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Opt-in required. One no-sweat token issued per eligible day after opt-in. No-sweat bonus bet issued based on amount of losing qualifying bet. Eligibility, max reward limits, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Licensing partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Again, Jordan Wright here in just a couple of minutes. Every day Muso sends me a prep sheet, kind of just scours the net, sends topic ideas, things could be interested in. Came across this earlier today. It's a piece over at CBS Sports where Dennis Dodd, who, of course, is reputable, has a piece for Michigan coaching candidates should Jim Harbaugh leave for the NFL. And among the top candidates that he lists are Sharon Moore, the offensive coordinator at Michigan, who was the interim coach there when Jim Harbaugh was suspended. And he also lists LSU coach Brian Kelly. I know, and I'm not naive, and I know a lot of people have talked about this over the past several weeks, since before Christmas. I fear if Harbaugh does take the Michigan job, that this story is only going to continue to grow and expand and everything. But I think what's important to note here is Dennis Dodd's a super reputable guy. He's one of the most reputable and well-respected college football writers in the country. He's not throwing that out there for no reason whatsoever. And I'm not sitting here trying to suggest anything about Brian Kelly or what may happen. All I'm saying, and what I've said from the beginning, it's never been that I think Brian Kelly has taken the Michigan job or anything. What I've said is that if Brian Kelly were offered that job, I think he would take it. But I think that's true for every coach in the country, save maybe Kirby, Dabo, and Nick until a week ago. I mean, Michigan's a great job. And any coach in the country, except for the ones I just mentioned, would listen. They obviously can pay. They just won the national championship. They've been to 3 straight playoffs. They're the winningest program in the history of college football. Brian Kelly coached college football in the state of Michigan for 20 years. There's a lot of reasons why that would make sense. But I have no idea whatsoever, literally none, if the University of Michigan would have any interest whatsoever in Brian Kelly. And that's something I have said consistently, even on the day when a lot of you heard a soundbite about me talking about this, and that part was omitted. But I'm certain for a lot of you who don't play around on Twitter, this is out of left field and Greek to you. But when a guy like Dennis Dodd puts it out there, it's going to start to get more conversation. And we'll talk about it, because if it's newsworthy, we'll talk about it. But there's nothing to talk about yet unless and until, one, Jim Harbaugh leaves for the NFL, which I don't think there's any guarantee he does. He's still in contract negotiations with Michigan to stay there. And then two, if he does leave for the NFL, if Michigan makes any overtures towards Brian Kelly, which I have no idea if they will, which I have said consistently throughout this entire thing. But it is something that's out there and something worth at least putting on the back burner and filing away, because if and when Harbaugh makes a decision about the next level, that's a question Brian Kelly's probably going to have to answer. So Dennis Dodd putting that out there today. For what it's worth, the list that Dennis Dodd put out, the hypothetical list for Michigan: Sharon Moore, their OC, Brian Kelly, Lance Leipold from Kansas, Jesse Minter, the Michigan defensive coordinator, and then Matt Campbell from Iowa State. The one thing I will mention, if you think, they wouldn't promote Sharon Moore, Michigan values very much the whole being a Michigan man mentality. And I'll remind you that when Bo Schembechler retired, Gary Moeller was on Bo Schembechler's staff. They promoted him. And then when Gary Moeller retired, they promoted Lloyd Carr, who was on his staff. So they have promoted head coaches who were on staff who were first-time head coaches in the past. So just something worth filing away. It's not worth going into too much detail about it all yet until there's any movement with Harbaugh. The job's not even open. But if someone like Dennis Dodd puts it out there, you have to talk about it. So, okay, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We'll knock out a quick break and continue. Jordan Wright, the LSU basketball team, joins us next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. And I am really pleased to announce, spilling the beans a bit, but Jordan Wright is actually the newest Get Gordon athlete, member of the G team. Jordan Wright, LSU basketball player. He is the first LSU basketball player to join the G team. Jordan played with Gordon's son, John Gordon. They played AAU ball together. Of course, John Gordon went to U High, and Jordan Wright went to Dunham. And so they played AAU ball together, know each other. There's been a long relationship there. And Jordan Wright is not only a Baton Rouge guy, a Dunham kid, went to Vanderbilt, now back home, playing great for the Tigers, and certainly is a great representative of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Of course, the G team continues to grow. Told you earlier this week, Dara Haydet, who's the captain of the Tiger Girls who won the national championship this past weekend. She's a member of the G team now as well. So Gordon continues to extend amazing NIL opportunities to student athletes in every sport all over the state. If you've been injured, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 Black Widow trucks, $20,000 off new Ram 1500 trucks, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Some kind of hold on me, like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The best kept.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Jalen Cook takes the inbounds pass, and the Tigers attack left to right. Jordan Wright, 3-ball, top of the key, bullseye to start the second half for LSU. Jordan now with 14 points, and it's 38-33, and the Tigers come out swinging.
Tigers rallied from a big deficit, came back, led by 16 twice in the second half, and closed it out against Ole Miss. Tigers 89, the number 22 Ole Miss Rebels 80, in large part thanks to the effort of this guy, Jordan Wright, with a stat line to remember at home against Ole Miss last night. Jordan, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, what when you wake up in the morning, you have a night like you did last night. Like, did you eat your Wheaties? I mean, do you go to the gym that day knowing it's going to be that kind of day?
No, I wish I did. I mean, I woke up, got a good workout on Coach Pixley that morning. My shot felt really good, so I knew it was, some confidence there going. But I wish I did because I ate my Wheaties and I knew it was going to be that type of night. But
well, it's funny, man. Because I'll talk to like pitchers sometime in baseball, and they'll say like they know in a bullpen, right? Like they know they're feeling it that day,
right,
or not. So it's interesting with shooters as well. But as the game was unfolding, like coming back, we heard the clip of the shot you hit right there at the start of the second half. When in the game did you start to feel in the flow like it was going to be your night?
Yeah, I would say the start of the second half. Once I hit that three, I knew it was going to be a good second half for me. I came out aggressive in the first half. I was able to pick some spots, got some steals early, so that kind of got me in the rhythm throughout the game. Just my defense kind of turned that into some offense there. But once I hit that three in the second half, I knew I was going to be able to kind of impose my will in the game and kind of get to the spots that I wanted to get to.
I'm sure you know this, but 25, 5, 5, and 5, that stat line hasn't been done at LSU but twice since 2010. It was Tremont Waters and Ben Simmons are the only other two to do what you did last night. When you put that into context, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. That's elite company. Every time I walk in the practice gym, I see those two guys. Those two NBA players, somewhere I aspire to be. So it definitely feels good to be in the company of those two LSU greats. So I'm really happy about it.
Hey, man, what did you miss about home while you were in Nashville? What did you miss most?
I would say, honestly, the food and also just the culture here. Just everybody's so together. Everybody's just such a family-oriented area, space. I get to see my grandmothers all the time. My little cousins play in their basketball games. So just that aspect. And also everywhere I go, I get treated like family. Everybody meets me with warm smiles. How you doing? How's your day going? You don't really necessarily get that everywhere. But here is somebody's always greeting you with a smile, greeting you with that familial tone.
It sounds like the decision to come back to Baton Rouge has been great for you away from the floor, but also on the floor. And one of the things that I really find interesting, and we followed your career at Vanderbilt, your role offensively really has expanded so far in the first half of this season back home. How has that changed for you? Really going sort of the facilitator and scorer combo at LSU as opposed to what you were asked to do there at Vanderbilt?
Right. I think it's just Coach McMahon's system, honestly. He put a lot of faith in me to just go out and make plays, honestly. At Vanderbilt, we ran a lot of sets, so the offense was kind of dictated on what set we ran and what we drew up in the huddle, per se. Whereas here, it's kind of like a free-flowing offense. I call for a ball screen, put myself in position to either get down here to make plays, for others make plays for myself. So I have to credit Coach McMahon. He put a lot from day one. He said he wanted to put the ball in my hands and allow me to have that freedom and have that ability to, like you said, not only make plays for myself but for others as well. So there's a lot of credit to him and staff here for, like I said, for having that confidence in me and also putting me in positions to be successful.
Have you noticed how Matt McMahon has evolved the offense just throughout this season, or just since you got to campus to now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could look at the beginning of the season for us. We slowed the ball. I think we were playing at a much slower pace than we were now. Ran a lot of half-court sets in those first games, but a lot of that credit also has to go to Jalen Cook, the way he's opened up the game for us, with his ability to command respect in the pick and roll, his ability to see the court. He's opened the game up a lot for not only me but for the rest of the team as well. So that has to go. A lot of credit goes to Coach, but also to Jalen Cook as well for when he came back. He kind of changed a lot of things for us offensively and gave us that presence at point guard that we were needing.
Can you dig in a little deeper there, Jordan? And I know you know Jalen from the time you were kids in AAU ball and everything. But,
right.
And Carlos as well. I mean, there's so much synergy on this team where you guys know each other so well. But
right.
Y'all are 5-2 since Jalen came back, and the loss obviously. I mean, two really tough. I mean, Texas and at Auburn. But
right.
So the tempo offensively is very obvious. What other ways, if you dig a little deeper, has the team, the offense, everything changed since Jalen's been back these 7 games?
Yeah, I think I'm a firm believer in a team will take the identity of their point guard and their coach. And ever since Jalen's come back, he always has this calm presence about him. You never see him get rattled, never see him get too shaken up. He's always just so cool, calm, collected. And I think the whole team's kind of taking that identity. The confidence that he has on the court, he passes it on to all of us. The way he just comes in and he just plays his game, plays free, just lets the game come to him. I think we all kind of adopted that mentality, and now we're all just playing free. You can see that Mike Williams, the way he's playing, the way he had the confidence to shoot that ball late in the second half after he just missed the wide open dunk. A lot of freshmen wouldn't be able to have the poise to do that, knock down that big shot. So I think Jalen's ability just to keep us all calm, keep us all collected, and then as well, he just gives us the confidence to go out there and just play. We know we could just trust each other. Like I said, I've been knowing Jalen since I was 9 or 10 years old, so I know him like the back of my hand. He knows me like the back of his hand. So it just feels I'm very comfortable with him on the court, and I just know what he's going to do, and we know how to play off each other well.
I'm glad you brought up the Mike Williams 3 because that was the play where, look, y'all were up 17, we're up 15, with 3 minutes to go. Everyone's like, starting to walk to the car, and then you blink, and it's 5, and it's like, are they? And then bang, the freshman hits the 3 to make it 8, and then you all iced it away at the free throw line. Walk me through that 3-pointer. What did you tell him? What was that moment like?
Yeah. Honestly, no one told him. Once he missed the dunk, he was just calm. Like, everybody wanted to. Honestly, I wanted to jump on him, but he was, when I saw his face, he was like, yo, we good. And I was like, I was like, I don't know. He was like, we good, bro, I'm telling you. So then Coach drove a good play. Jalen found Mike. He hit the shot, and the first thing he did was just, like, pump his hands down, like, y'all chill out, I got y'all. And that just goes to show what type of player he is, what type of dude he is. Just the moment's never too big for him. He stepped up, made a big play, but the first thing he did was like, y'all chill, like, I got us, we good. and for a freshman, that's huge, man. And I just laughed, and I'm like, man, this dude here is like, he's the real deal, man. I wish I had that confidence out of the freshman. So it was big for us, and like I said, it iced the game, sealed the game for us.
Jordan, I was like you. I was going, oh, no. It got to 5 with 1:07, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
What are they doing? But that is a good point, though, and just a couple more, and Jordan Wright's our guest. Look, you're the veteran guy on the team, and you've played a ton. What's it like being a leader on this team where there's so many new faces, and you're one of the new faces, too?
Right. Yeah, I would say at the beginning it was a challenge. Because I was first couple games of the season, I was trying to find my way, feel my way into it. But also you need to help the other guys. We have a lot of new guys, but they all kind of looking to me, and I'm still trying to figure out my way. So I was a little thrown off in the beginning, honestly. But as we progress through the season, it's become a lot easier. Everybody's kind of, in tune with their role, in tune with, what they need to do to help the team win. We figured out how to win and what we need to do to be successful. We have a formula that's been working for us here in the SEC play. So, honestly, my leadership has been going off of that. With the things that we know we need to do to win, and just echoing that. Being an extension of coach on the court, like you said, I've been played in a lot of SEC games. I've played in a lot of college basketball games, over 100. So I know what it takes to win. I know how to win. So like I said, just kind of being an extension of coach on the court, just echoing the same messages you have, but also just knowing my teammates, knowing how to get through to them, knowing when to, kind of jump on them a little bit, knowing when to kind of fall back, give them confidence, encourage them. So just having that savvy to know, pick and choose what voice I need to bring and what I need to bring to the team that night.
Hey, man, I think we get to break some news here as well, that you joined the G team. I was talking to Alex over at Gordon's office, man. So, of course, we're great to be partnered here with thrilled to be partnered here with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And you're the first ever men's basketball player over at LSU to get an NIL deal with Gordon. What's that mean to you, man? I know you and John Gordon go way back too.
Right. No, it means a lot. It means a lot. Honestly, I'm thrilled to be a part of the team. I'm really thankful for that opportunity to work with Gordon and the team there. Like you said, I've been knowing JG probably since like the 6th grade. We played against each other coming up. Redstone's had many a battle coming up. And we developed a good friendship over the course of time here. So, like you said, I'm excited to be a part of the G team. Like, honestly, when I was coming to LSU and committed, I was a goal of mine. I saw the billboards around town when I first moved back, and I was like, man, I want to have my face up there. I want to be a part of the G team. It's an honor, honestly. I've seen all the best athletes, across LSU be up there and do work with the G team. So it was, like I said, it was a goal of mine for sure. But like you said, to be the first men's basketball athlete, I'm honored. I'm thrilled to be a part of the team, and I'm excited to produce with them.
So cool, man. I know Anissa Morrow with the women's basketball team, Aaliyah Armstrong over with track and field, got to join the G team, now Jordan Wright as well, and we're thrilled to be partnered with Gordon as well. Hey, man, congrats on the win and a great night. I know y'all got A&M on Saturday. Quick turnaround there with the Aggies playing them again so quickly, but good luck. We'll be watching, man. We appreciate a couple of minutes today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That is our pleasure. Jordan Wright, what a night last night for Jordan Wright and the Tigers. Last year was not fun at all. And I know, especially this year when LSU lost to Nichols early in the season, there were just a lot of, it was the second game of the year. There was a lot of people looking around going, man, is Matt McMahon the right guy? And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that I can X and O any sport the way coaches and players do. But I do have the opportunity to talk to a lot of people who know way, way more than me. And you ask people about Matt McMahon, and they'll tell you, LSU got the right guy. Like, he's an incredible coach. Give him time. He's got to get players. And I keep going back to the fact that LSU gave him a 7-year contract. A 7-year contract. Because they had to. Because of what he inherited. Remember where they were. I say it all the time. I know I sound like a broken record, but in most every conversation you have, context matters. And Matt McMahon inherited a team where after 2 weeks after taking the job, he had 0 scholarship players. The threat and potential of sanctions, postseason ban, scholarship restrictions was all hanging over the program. Last year, it was just a punt. It's a total punt. Like, it's almost like that doesn't even count what happened last year. And look at this year as year one. And I'm not sitting here telling you this team's going to the tournament. I don't think they are. I think this is a team that could get to 7-8 league wins and probably be an NIT team. And I think that would be an incredible accomplishment for this team. But you give Matt McMahon the opportunity. You get LSU to get the collective and the NIL opportunities rolling in basketball as well. Get players on this roster that can compete night in and night out in this league. And Matt McMahon's going to coach them and get them there. So it's been I think this run that they've been on here, they've won 5 of 6. They're 3-1 to start conference play. The only loss is on the road at Auburn. It's given you some confidence that, okay, man, like they are pointed in the right direction. I mean, they have some nice wins. A road win against A&M, snapping that long SEC road losing streak. The home win last night against a ranked Ole Miss team. Yeah, like, I'm not sugarcoating and telling you they're going to be great. I'm just telling you, like, the arrow's pointed up. They're going in the right direction. It's going to be a long journey. But if you look closely enough, you'll start to see it. They got a big opportunity on Saturday as well. So, you turn around and beat A&M for a second time, and you move to 4-1. You're taking care of business early in this conference slate, which is going to build you some cushion because the middle is going to be rough. Remember we said the middle of LSU's conference slate is going to be rough. But you get through this, and you'll build yourself enough of a cushion to where you'll have an opportunity to play down the stretch for something of significance. So progress, and they're making it. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, Complete Employer Solutions, GLO, glowresources.com. That's glowresources.com. I was talking to Jareth Nakan over at Glow Resources, who's of course the founder, CEO. Beautiful building, by the way. If you're driving down Perkins, you can't miss it. They're right near Pennington, on Quail Oak, corner of Quail Oak. You trust me, you cannot miss it. They have reshaped the frontage look of Perkins Road in that area. But I was talking to Jareth, and he was telling me, man, like, most of the reason that they have such great retention is people love to work with them. And it's true. You walk in, it's a total vibe when you're at Glow. They literally brought in interior designers, decorators, to put art and fun stuff all over the building. I mean, it's a vibe. People want to work there and work with them. It's Glow Resources. They got a 93% retention rate. If you need help with hiring, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
One day after we did our Bama is Burning a bit here, if you weren't here, well, that's okay. You've probably seen it because it's all over the internet. We're playing O Fortuna, and I'm yelling like an idiot again, celebrating the destruction of the Alabama football program. But just less than 24 hours after that, there's a piece up at ESPN.com, and you could tell that, well, I believe this is damage control. You may feel differently than I do, but I feel like this is a great PR piece. Chris Lowe at ESPN.com who broke the Nick Saban news of his retirement, was able to get some one-on-one time with a handful of Alabama players to talk to them about their decision to remain at Alabama amid so much of the exodus there. So the piece is up at ESPN.com right now. He spoke to starting inside linebacker Deontay Lawson, junior offensive guard Tyler Booker, who said, quote, "No amount of money could buy me away from Alabama and my legacy here." Malachi Moore, who's a permanent team captain, spoke on the record. Jalen Milroe did as well. So Chris Lowe put out this piece, which I don't blame Chris Lowe for doing the piece. I think part of the story certainly around Alabama right now, the part that I absolutely love to see is the mass exodus from Alabama. But part of the story also are the guys who have elected to stay. at Alabama. So Chris Lowe's telling that story, and that's all fine and good, and that may make the Alabama fan base feel good about the guys who are staying put, and maybe it makes some other guys consider or reconsider their decision. I don't really know. But as that story, on the same day that story is published, the fire, the inferno, continues to burn. And it's far from over. I don't know if you saw, but another day has brought another defection in Tuscaloosa.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
This time it's cornerback Jameer Grimsley. Muse, you ever heard the name of Jameer Grimsley running around the field making plays for the Tide?
No, did he redshirt this year?
Oh, no, he hasn't redshirted.
Oh.
He just hasn't played a game yet in Tuscaloosa.
Oh.
Yeah, you see, Jameer Grimsley just signed with Alabama a few weeks ago in December. Just signed, and now he's in the transfer portal.
He hadn't even taken a class yet.
In the portal. He gone. He was going to be an early enrollee, and now he gone. You don't have to be let out of your letter of intent. Just go in the portal. Anybody can transfer. So, cornerback Jameer Grimsley. Gone.
Another one.
Caleb Downs. Gone.
Another one.
Caden Proctor. Gone.
Another one.
Isaiah Bond. Gone.
Another one.
29 players now. You need to turn that louder, too, by the way. Like louder. Yes. Drown me out almost.
Here goes Matt's voice.
It's fine. My voice will survive. But if people are barreling down the interstate, Muse, and their car engine's going, they're not going to hear that. So you got to make it go. Crank it up. Louder. As loud as it will go.
That's as loud as it'll go.
Good. 29 players in the portal. 6 commits for the class of 2025. Muse, there's a 5-star from this class that decommitted. Right now, he's in Baton Rouge.
Who's that, Matt?
I don't even know his name. I don't care. What's his name as a wide receiver?
Ryan Williams?
Him.
He'd be a good get.
I don't even care if he comes here. I just don't want him to go there.
Well, he's not going there.
Clearly. Guess he could always change his mind.
He don't want to do that.
Muse. Like, I got Alabama fans, like my buddy Chris Marlar, at Vern Funquist on Twitter.
We love Marlar.
Marlar's out there little brothering Auburn right now and trying to praise things like this. Alabama did get one today. They got one. Yeah. No, forgive me. They didn't get him. They got a visit from one. Parker Brailsford.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
Yeah, he's an offensive lineman from Washington.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer coming from Washington.
Your coach. Yeah.
Do I need to remind you that he started all 15 games this year at Washington?
Caden, all right, could replace Caden Proctor, maybe?
No, he's an interior lineman.
Oh, he could replace the center.
No, forgive me, he did play tackle. But
there's plenty of holes there they could replace.
It says interior offensive line here, but up here it says tackle. Yeah, right.
Yeah, man.
They got room. But my point is, you can say all you want about how Washington won the Joe Moore, right?
They did.
The trophy that looks like a piano. Congratulations. You know what I saw in the national championship game?
What's that?
I saw Washington's offensive line get their ass kicked by Michigan. I saw those dudes get dump trucked like a bunch of pansies. Is that when you think of Alabama's dominance in the Nick Saban era, what's the first thing you think about?
Trenches.
Line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Bama, Georgia, line of scrimmage. They're bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic. They dominate everybody. Marcel Darius knocking Colt McCoy out of a game. That's what you think of. A'Shawn Robinson, Jerron Reed, Holden Leonard Fournette to 30 rushing yards on 15 carries. You think about the trenches. You think about Cam Robinson and all the great offensive linemen at Alabama over this time. Bringing in that guy? The tall, skinny guy from Washington? Please. Let's just take Washington's team and put them in Tuscaloosa. You can let Michael Penix play another year. I'm good with it.
Okay.
Take that Washington, all the players. Take them all. Put him in crimson and white next year in the SEC and watch him go 7-5. I'm here for it, Muse. I'm here to watch it burn. I'm telling you. You may think this is extra. You may think it's eccentric. You may think it's unnecessary. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I did an interview today in Knoxville with my buddy Jason Swain and Josh Ward. And they asked me my reaction to Saban retiring. And I went on a rant on their show. It wasn't even my show. I said the word bitch on somebody else's show.
Nice.
No, that's completely it's completely inappropriate. It's legal, like you can say the word bitch, but you bitch and complain, bitch and moan, whatever. I said that all the Bama fans are bitching, whatever. And I would never do that, but I don't even care. Because you can imagine what this moment would feel like. You could try to imagine what this would, for 17 years, we've all tried to think, what would it feel like when Nick was gone? When the Crimson Reign was over?
Yep.
When Nick was in retirement and Bama had to figure it out? Well, it's almost like when you talk to players about winning a championship. Hey, you're on the field. How does it feel right now?
Yeah.
Man, it's kind of indescribable. I feel the same way. You could do like Skip Bertman said, you got to ardently desire and believe. Like, you got to believe. You can, in your mind, play it over and over, but until the confetti's falling and you're holding up the trophy, you don't know. You can't know exactly what that feels like. I could have imagined what it was going to be like when Nick left. It don't live up to this moment right here. Watching Nick gone, and in 1 week, 29 players in the transfer portal, 2 recruiting classes gutted. Kalen DeBoer's the coach. Some dude from South Alabama's coming in to coach defense. Good luck with that. I'm sure he's going to do a terrific job. He ain't going to be Nick. It can never be Nick. You got Washington offensive linemen and cornerbacks that haven't even gone to a class yet, leaving your program. You got Chris Lowe out here running these fluff pieces. God bless you, Chris Lowe. I don't blame you for writing it. But you think I'm worried about Deontay Lawson or Tyler Booker saying no amount of money could buy me away from my Alabama and my legacy here? 30 guys disagree. Tyler Booker. Burn! Maybe we'll replace O Fortuna with Disco Inferno.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Baby, burn.
That could bring a little more energy to it. Yeah.
It's so much fun, though. Another one. Gone.
Another one.
Keep that handy. I have a feeling we're going to need it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll knock out our final break of the show, and we will talk to little Otter Locks coming up to wrap up the show next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. You know where to find them. Every home listed by every company all in one place at agent225.com, agent225.com. If you're thinking about selling your home, I want to ask you a question. How do you maximize exposure? Well, LPT Realty, that says it all. LPT stands for Listing Power Tools. Darren James and Associates, powered by LPT Realty, Listing Power Tools. It's a proprietary tool and system to get you maximum exposure on your home. You don't have to take my word for it. Take Darren James's word for it. Darren James is the number 54 realtor in the country on the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. Number 54 in the country. It's Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Look them up online, agent225.com, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford F-150 lifted trucks. $10,000 off new Ford F-150 and 3.9% financing. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Go Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Happy New Year from your friends at Front to Back Boat Service. And what better way to kick off your new year than by taking your boat to the next level? Get the boat of your dreams, and that's where Front to Back comes into play. You want that spot lock trolling motor that's going to keep you right there on the water where you need to be. How about some forward-facing sonar that actually shows you the fish before you even cast? Custom stereo jobs, all of it. Sherman family's been doing it for 38 years. Go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Doing awesome. Watching the Crimson Empire burn. LSU filling out a coaching staff. Tiger basketball gets a win. The Pels get a win last night. Going to dinner with some friends down in New Orleans tonight. I couldn't be better, man. I am fired up right now.
There you go. The sharp money has been on LSU the last 2 basketball games, by the way. It opened up 16.5 on Friday for Saturday's game. Closed at 14.
Oh, Otter, I don't know if you noticed, but our guy Mincy super upset yesterday that the odds makers were giving Ole Miss no respect as a 3.5-point dog in Baton Rouge. I was sure to throw that back in his face last night.
Well, I tried to, teach the boy, an unranked team favored over a ranked team.
Autoplay.
Hey, look, some people just don't listen. I can only lead them to water. I can't make Mincy drink. So.
Oh my God!
Hey, we got a lot of big upsets in the top 5 teams getting knocked off left and right. One of those was last weekend, and that was Arizona, and Washington State of all teams knocked them off. So following up, calling it a little bit of a hangover effect. Those teams have had it handed to them pretty good. 6-2-1 against the spread if you're fading those teams. One of them tonight, Washington State going to Stanford. Stanford is only a 3.5 point favorite at home. So that's our best bet tonight is Stanford at home against Washington State.
All right, so we should buy to it's 3.5 at DraftKings. Buy to 3.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Stanford laying the 3. By the way, that is Stanford laying the 3 is minus 125 at DraftKings.
Did you have fun with that first half money line parlay last night?
That was the most. So we went 1 and 2 last night in our 3 plays, but the 4-leg first half money line parlay was one of the more wackadoo plays you've given us. But I'll be damned if it didn't hit.
Let's go back at it. Florida Atlantic, Utah, Stanford.
All right. Okay. All right, what we got?
Florida Atlantic.
All right, FAU.
Memphis.
Wait, say again. Your phone broke up.
Memphis.
Okay.
Utah.
Okay.
And the Colorado Buffaloes.
Okay. First half money line parlay. Florida Atlantic, Memphis, Utah, Colorado.
Yeah. How about those crooks at Tempe last night? 4 freaking technicals. I mean, really?
That was a tough
God.
beat. We had a shot at a 2-1 night. Arizona State couldn't get it done against UCLA. Muse, Otter, and I were on a group text just sweating out that last game.
1 minute
Aaron
remaining.
just putting Drew to bed, and I'm sweating out a spread in the Pac-12 with UCLA and Arizona State. I can't name a single player on the team.
I should be spending some more quality time with EJ before he goes away to college, but I'm busy watching these guys. 4 technicals, 0. Can the other team get 1?
You got to pay for his college, Otter.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
All right,
rumor has it. Yes, rumor has it.
So Stanford laying the 3, best play of the night, and then that first half money line parlay with Florida Atlantic, Memphis, Utah, and Colorado.
That's it. Let's get them.
Rufino's tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Fridays with the Otter and Hanny over at Rufino's, always a good time. Good luck, Otter. Thank you.
All right, good luck, Matt.
All right, man. Have a great night. That is Jimmy Ott. All right, that'll do it for us here. Thursday show is brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We're getting on down the road. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Right Radio Hours return. We'll look forward to seeing you then on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020. 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Call Dr. Blake Williamson and schedule that consultation. I'm about to get in the car and head down to New Orleans. Going to go to dinner with some friends tonight. And one thing that I know for a lot of people is tough when you struggle to see, it's driving at night. It's seeing street signs. It's blurred vision because of car lights. I never have to worry about that. I never have to worry if my contact's blurry, if my glasses prescription is up to date. I literally never have to worry about that again. LASIK changed that for me. If you want to be able to see, wake up in the morning and see. Go to bed at night and see. Wake up in the middle of the night and have to go take a leak, and you don't have to reach for glasses on your end table because you can just see. It'll change your life. Just go for the consultation at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.